All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another live Pin the Gas podcast. And I have a special one for everyone today, so you guys get ready for yourselves. I have Mason, Artur, Chris, which is their rider coach, and the two dads, JD and Lee, on the podcast today with the Mclntire whole racing family. We have a lot to talk about. There's already a bunch of people watching right now, so welcome everybody that is watching. Thank you guys and girls so much. But before we get into this, the first thing that I do want to say to everyone is, man, thank you so much for all the corner marshal workers, all the guys and girls that come out to the track, that sacrifice, because a lot of it's just voluntary, right? And without each and every single one of you, Artur and Mason and Chris and myself would not be able to show up and have any fun at all. So it's nothing but love to all the guys and girls out there that do all the corner marshal workers. Thank you guys again so much. But yeah, listen, we got a lot to talk about. It's Artur, Mason, Lee, JD, and Chris. I remembered all that, right? It's good. We're off to a good start. So yeah, listen, we have a bunch of people on. So listen, I just want to start out like I always do, right? And this question is specifically geared for Mason and Artur. So I want you two to tell us where your journey began on the two wheels. And we're going to start with Artur.
Well, my journey began because so my mom and Juan they got together, and then after I just saw him riding motorcycles, and I'm like, I want to try, and I tried, and I was like, oh dang, this is pretty nice. And then Bush and I fell off I was going and said, okay, let me hit full gas. I hit full gas, and then after I just fell
Coming down the bridge.
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly what happened, but I just fell into the tires, and I'm like, this doesn't hurt. So I was thinking, yeah.
He got back on it and kept riding.
Yeah, you know, JD, me, you, and Lee and Chris, we don't bounce and roll like they did, right? So yeah, it's
not anymore.
Right? It's awesome. Absolutely, Artur, dude. Congratulations. You know, I found my love and passion for a motorcycle at a very young age too, myself. And it's been, man, the most proper mega journey ever. Right now, as we speaking, you know, same thing with you and JD and Lee and Mason and Chris. So Mason, let's go with you, bro, dude. What is up, my man? How you doing? And tell us your journey. Where did it all begin with you?
I'm doing good. It's the first time I ever rode a motorcycle was probably like fourth grade. I came home and there was like a Chinese pocket bike that you just buy on like Amazon or something. And I rode it for the first time. And then after that, I just kind of fell in love with riding. And then a little bit later, I wanted to like upgrade to something faster. So we got a 110 dirt bike. After that, I just fell in love with riding on two wheels.
I love it. So I'm basically gonna stick with Mason and Artur right this second, and then I'll get to JD and Lee and Chris. So, you know, you guys are obviously fairly new to the game. Your careers are just beginning, which is absolutely a mega future legends of the sport, as I keep saying, right? So let me ask you this. What is your guys' typical day of training goes as far as you, because I know you still juggle school too as well.
Well, for me, the times I can train on the track, it's mostly just learning stuff and trying to get like a little advanced. So like Chris, he tells me advice, and I just use it to just get faster each time, learn more stuff, and get faster.
I love it. You know, it's funny because I tell my son, he's 12, he's y'all's age, right? I'll tell him something, and then, for example, Chris would tell him the same thing I did. Of course, he's going to listen, right? It's like, y'all two know exactly what I'm talking about, JD and Lee, right? So, yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, the benefit, what Artur and Mason have, man, you guys got Chris, which is an absolute weapon out there on the track. He's got so much knowledge. He's been in the game a long time. And to have two young future legends of the sport, such as you, Artur and Mason, you guys are like little sponges soaking it up. Before you know it, you guys are going to be faster than Chris. What do you think about that?
I already am.
One day. one day.
Mason already talking. He's like, I already am. What are you talking about? Like, that's nothing. Let's go.
You should hear these two. They're like brothers, literally.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming as soon as you said it. I was like, oh, it's coming. It's all right.
But that is so good for Arthur and Mason because they relate. They look up to Chris, right, in a different way than they look up to Dad and Mom, right? So they're more susceptible to obviously listen to them, and to have somebody like Chris in y'all's two corner is priceless. Your parents cannot pay to have somebody like Chris come in and teach you both at a young age. Listen, I'm proud of you. Right, you guys are just starting. I know these three gentlemen right here, they're absolutely proud of you too. So, yeah, let's go, man. I love it. So, there's so many questions that I have. Let me ask you this, Arthur and Mason, since you guys' journey is just beginning. What advice would you give to kids that are just beginning right now?
Well, my advice is just there's a lot coming. A lot of things that are coming.
Okay, good answer, man. I like it. Mason?
Don't be afraid, because the more you hesitate, the more things are going to happen, and just be cool and just enjoy it.
I love it. Be cool. Have fun. That's the main reason why we do it, right? Is to have fun. It's absolutely amazing. So, JD and Lee, let me ask you two gentlemen this. Me being a father, obviously I had aspirations of, my wife's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, yes, I got a MotoGP future world champ sitting right here, whether it's like a boy or a girl, it didn't matter to me, right? And then, of course, my son, he don't really ride a whole lot, but I had that aspirations. Did you two gentlemen have that aspirations too as well when you had Mason and Arthur?
On my end, so I have 8 kids. He's my youngest boy, and none of the kids really, they played sports, but none of them were into any kind of racing. I never raced bikes. I never even rode bikes until he did. I enjoyed racing cars. I was really into drag racing back in the day, and so when he said he wanted to do more with motorcycles, I was like, "Where's my wallet? Like, let's go!" I was just so excited. And honestly, I looking back, if you would have told me I'd be sitting here like a year ago, I'd been like, "There's no way! Like, get out of here." Yeah. So for us, he's started this like a year and a half ago, and so it's been just like an all-in type thing to support him. And yeah, I'd said this before, as long as he wants to keep doing it, I'll support him. But I never had like that dream of him being a MotoGP, but who knows where these kids, Arthur or any of these kids at this level could end up. I mean, there's Moto America, there's MotoGP, there's BSB. So, I mean, I think they would be happy with anything, in their future.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, both proud dads.
Oh yeah,
110%, right? Same thing with you, yes. JD. Right? Did you have that not expectation, but in your mind, like, yes, I'm definitely gonna buy him a motorcycle before, because my son had a PW50 when my wife was like, as soon as she told me she was pregnant, I went out literally that weekend, got him a PW50. Like, I was prepared, and a Strider. I was 100% set, right? Kind of same deal with you, JD, or?
Well, when Jolie, Arthur's mom, we got together just to ride on the street, some track, and I never think about getting a motorcycle. We just started going to the track, start seeing the other kids, and I would say at the moment that he said, we told him, "Hey, do you want to try it?" He was like, "I don't know, yes." He just came off for riding with training wheels. And the same year, he passed from training wheels to riding on a 50. And we was, okay, let's buy a 50. We bought a 50, modified, get it ready for SFL. We got him sued, everything. We start putting everything together. I was really excited when he put some interest in, like, I want to try. That's something I want to try.
I love it.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you know, and I said this before we went live. I was telling Lee, you know, the journey that Arthur and JD you're gonna have and Mason and Lee have is super unique in this lifetime, right? It's a journey that not many people have a chance to experience. Um, and it's to me that's one of the most beautiful things that a father and son or a father and daughter or a mom and daughter or mom and son is absolutely ever going to do, because his or her passion is going to turn into your passion, right? Same thing with my son. You know, of course, he loves video games, so I got to get on them sticks with him every once in a while. But it's the same thing. You know, it's that bond, and I'm a huge family guy. You know, my son's the most important thing in the world to me, and that's the main reason why I do this podcast. If I was to, God forbid, drop dead tomorrow, he can always go to any social media videos, see my laughter, see me smile, hear me talk about him. You know, that to me is the most important thing at the end of the day. And of course, the future legends of the sport, such as Arthur and Mason and everybody else. But that's why I do this is for my son Rossi. So I know you probably listen, Rossi. You already know what time it is. I love you, right? So yeah, there it is, and it's that bond, and that we do bond over motorcycles. He goes to a lot of races with me, and it's the only place that as a father that I can trust when we get out the car, my son can take off, and I don't never have to worry about anything at all. And that alone is super unique in our lifetime. You know what I mean? The friendships and the bonds you make along the way is just, everybody wants to see everybody succeed in this sport. You can't say that about any other sport, not UFC, not basketball, not none of that, right? Because at the end of the day, motorcycle racing is a team sport, but at the end of the day, it falls on Arthur's shoulders and Mason's shoulders and Chris's shoulders, because it's solo at that time that they're out there, right? But everything in between is proper mega and magical. It's in one day, the hardest thing is going to be is once Arthur and Mason hit this certain level, another team's going to take over, and the dad's going to have to step back a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother part of this journey too, that just starting out, that might happen quicker rather than later. You never know, right? So it's absolutely a beautiful thing. But Arthur and Mason, I want to ask you this. Starting out, of course, getting on a little 50, obviously you really don't know how to ride. So obviously there's got to be some type of drills set in place from dads out there to say, hey, let's go out there and do this, and there's some drills we like. There's some drills I like, and there's some drills I'm like, oh my God, here we go again, right? But at the end of the day, that makes you so much better, right? So what are your typical drills both of you kids do? And what are the two drills that you're just like, Dad, do we really got to do this again? But at the end of the day, once you do them and your dad looks at that stopwatch, you're like, that's why you should be doing them drills, right? So Arthur and Mason, what is that for you two?
Well, my typical drills of the parking lot, so it's like a little eight, figure eight, yeah, figure eight. That's like really small, and there's two lines, and I have to keep the I think
the front and rear tire in between the lines. The lines are about 4 to 6 inches apart, and he had to keep the front and both tires between the lines on a really tight circles.
I love it. So Mason, before you answer the question, Arthur, what is the drills that you just like, Dad, really? I really got to do this?
Well, for me, it's exactly that eight, because I'm over here like, come on, just I'm asking, like literally asking the bike, please don't get off, and yeah, it's really hard.
But as anything, the more you practice, the better you're going to get, the more proficient you're going to get at, the more muscle memory you're going to have, and next thing you know, you're going to be. So, Arthur, before I go to Mason, let me ask, are you faster than your dad already?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. Mason, same question for you. The typical drills that you go out and do. This is important for the kids, because there's a lot of kids that listen to this podcast, and hearing it from you and Arthur means a lot more than the dad sitting here talking about it, right? So typically, what does your training day consist of for you, and what are the drills that you're not too thrilled to do?
Well, the typical drills is probably like circle drills and figure eights. Those are just the classic drills. And then like there's like the J drill, which is one Chris has me do a lot. And then probably two drills I don't like doing as much is slaloms. Those just suck. And then figure eights, because those also kind of just
Head down, right? But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's natural for certain riders that like right corners versus left corners, but that's the whole purpose of the figure eights and all that, is getting you as comfortable on both sides and leaning off and setting up the correct body position. I mean, I don't have to go into it. I know Chris talks about it all the time. So it's and I explain this author and Mason a lot. It's a puzzle, but all the puzzle pieces got to go together. And that's exactly what you two are doing right now. You're building this foundation of a puzzle, and all these pieces are starting to come in together, right? So some of the drills you're learning now that you're not too thrilled about, you're going to jump on and be like, I got this, no problem, right? And then you're going to start sliding the front, sliding the rear, doing it. And then more grip's going to come and more feelings is going to come. The next thing you know, you're out there, yeah, kicking Chris's butt and everybody else's too at the same time, which is absolutely amazing. I remember, I didn't have in my era, I didn't have somebody like Chris in my corner. My dad, he was a fighter pilot, so he was gone all the time. So it was my friends' dads and me riding their dirt bikes growing up. And well, I didn't get my first street bike till I was 16, but I've had, 8 years of dirt bike riding experience. So I got on it and gelled right away. But I wish that there was a program set in place like SFL Mini GP. That's why it's so important. And Apex and the one in Jersey and all the other ones spread out across the United States that we don't ever hear about. That's why it's so important to have stuff like that in place to teach you the correct body position and target fixation and peripheral vision. And I mean, the list goes on and on. But all those things that I just named, again, is just a little piece of that big picture of that puzzle for you two to be on that top box, whether it's BSB, ASBK, Alaman TT. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there, right? Even though the dads are like, no, moms especially, right? But I'm just saying it's that full picture. But everything you kids are doing right now is that little piece that's going into that puzzle that's going to make that complete journey for you two. So,
Yeah, getting in, to being new to mics, I had no idea how intricate and how many layers there are to properly riding, the technique wise. And it blows my mind what he can do and Artur can do on these bikes. And just, every little thing matters the faster you get. And in order to go faster, those things matter even more. And so you have to get it right as you go. I mean, he started out, wobbling, then he got his knee down, and now he's dragging elbow, and it's just like these evolution is just wild to see.
I love it. And listen, I'm jealous because the only time I ever drag an elbow, and I talk about it all the time, is my elbow, like my knee go down. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting. And then all of a sudden the front goes like this, and then my elbow scrapes the ground. The next thing I know, my shoulder, my back, and I'm watching my bike go this way. But hey, I did the best Jorge Martin impression you ever seen in your life, right? So yeah, it's it's awesome. It's like, listen, Artur and Mason, I know for me personally, and I don't know if Chris can attest to this, but we'll never forget, because I started out obviously later on in life, 19, 20 years old before I got into track days and racing, right? But I remember that first suit that I put on, I felt like I was Superman. I was invincible, right? And then all I ever wanted to do was drag my knee, right? And then I drug my knee, and I'm making fun of all my friends that couldn't drag the knee and all that, right? So it's all those experiences and that sum, right? But for you two, you started at such a young age. It's dragging the elbows, like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's nothing, right? But for me, that's huge. And to be able to have that skill and that talent at such a young age, at 12 years old, already speaks volumes of you both of your kids' natural talent of what you're doing, and also shows the level of professionalism that Chris has too, to teach both of you two. And of course, I can't forget about the two dads sitting right here too, right? So again, it goes along with that puzzle I keep talking about, right? It's all those little pieces, Lee, JD, Chris, Mason, Artur, and all that good stuff that that go along with it. So, yeah, are you nervous, Mason? Because you're over there.
I'm good.
Arthur's over there. He's just like, ask me another question. Let's go. So listen, Arthur, let me ask you this. We've all had our first scary moments on the track. I know I did, right? I know Chris did, JD, and I'm sure Lee, maybe not so much on a road race course with motorcycles, but I'm sure in a drag car. There's been that one time where you're like, whoa, right? So what was the scary moment for you two, and how did you overcome that to get past that threshold?
Probably one of my first ones, and it's kind of weird because it's happened like, let's say 3 months ago, but 3 months ago I was only 7 months in riding, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, it was a little bit ago. It was at Anderson, like T4, and I was going to pass, and at the time I had my passing down pretty well, and I passed 2 110s, and I was going for the inside on a 50, which was our other teammate Abel, and I thought I had it, but I wasn't all the way there. So Abel turned in, and then I hit his side, and then I went up and over, and then I landed elbow first. So it took a little bit to get over the fear and get back into fluent passing like I was doing.
That's I remember it was last Christmas. Dude, I bought my son a brand new dirt bike, a 110. He rid it literally one time, and that's when we unloaded it. It was first time with a clutch, right? He's used to the automatic. So I was like, you know what? You're 12. It's clutch time. So I said, look, I sit on the bike. I fire it up. He's sitting in front of me. I said, see how I'm letting out the clutch and it's moving forward, right? And I pull it back in. I rock back on the hill, let go, ball of feet, pull it in, get back on my hill. Just so you get that grab. You don't even need the gas. Just ease it out and then ease in the throttle. That's all you got to do. He says, I got you, Pops. He gets on that thing, puts his helmet on. First thing he does, he grabs it, puts it in gears, goes, boom, and the bike went, right? Crashed it. Absolute total scared. He's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, look, just do me a favor. Just sit on it. You don't have to ride it. I won't start it. Just do me a favor and just sit on the bike. He's like, but I'm super scared. I said, that's exactly why I want you to sit on it. It's just a machine. It's a tool. That's how I look at motorcycle. It's just a tool that allows you to have the most fun you're ever going to have in your life, right? And make a living and everything else that's going to come along with it. So it's super important when you do have an incident like that, especially your first one, to immediately get back on it, because it immediately goes away and you're not scared of it no more, right? It's really nothing to be scared of. Again, it's two wheels and this and a brake. That's it, right? It's all how you approach it and handle it mentally. And at a young age, Mason, I like it.
I want to just chime in really, really quick. I think the kids might not realize it, but when my job, I guess, let's say, is when they do something wrong and it goes south and they go down or they hurt themselves or anything, it helps for me or for them for me to come to them and let them know, listen, this is why that happened. This is why you went down. No, it wasn't everything else that you were doing before that is exactly how you should be doing it, but you just did this one little thing, and that one little thing is enough for you to go down. So I think that's helped them, especially Mason. I know for sure, because Arthur has a couple more years ahead of Mason, but Mason has been able to bounce back a lot quicker because I think we get right to it. We get, okay, this is what you did wrong. Don't do that again. And he does a really good job of just changing and moving forward, getting right back to it.
I love it. But a lot of that too is, Arthur and Mason don't have an ego right now like we do. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to teach our future legends of the sport because they soak it in, where somebody like JD and Lee and me and you, Chris, would be like, whatever, I got it. I've read the Keith Code book. I've watched the videos. I got this, right? Absolutely not. And that's something that, just a little piece of advice. Anytime you show up, just keep an open mind. Be like a little sponge and soak it all in 110%. It's going to do nothing but, again, that puzzle. It's those little pieces that you don't realize at the time, Arthur and Mason, that it's going to form this big, beautiful picture of what's going to be called your championship careers, right? and many, many, many to come. So, yeah, Chris is absolutely right. And again, I said this at the beginning, to have somebody like Chris and Artur in Mason's corner is invaluable. It's absolutely, again, you kids are already above the game just because of Chris and what he has to offer. And it's a beautiful thing to see. So Artur, you're up.
Well,
He said, okay, I love it.
but well, I don't know, because I had many scary ones. Because I think the first one was with the 110. I was going fast, like always, and then it was just like I just touched the piano, and I immediately just like lose the foot and like flip over, and I'm like go into the ground, and I was like, ow, my head, and I was in shock. Another one, well, the other two were in California, which the other one was that my gear was stuck, and I was into the corner, and I was trying to shift it, and after it shifted mid-corner, and I just lost it and went right to the ground. And the last one was a death wobble. Like it was wobbling a lot. I got out of the corner, had a big wobble. I saved it, and I literally was like, no, adjust this bike. Not doing this anymore.
Yes.
Dad, did you adjust the bike?
Yes, we adjusted after that. He came out of fastest, and then it was a tank slapper in small straightaway to a hairpin, and was another kid going through the hairpin. I really don't know how he keep it on two. We was everybody, me, Lee, Chris, everybody. We was like white, like pale white, because we saw it like, oh my god. So he got to save it. He came out after that round and he was like, no, that doesn't work. Change it back. So we changed the setting back, and it got better after that.
I love it. Again, it's super important for Artur and Mason, as soon as something happens, to get right back up, and get back on it, just because it's second nature now. It's not even a thought. And the big key, Artur and Mason, when you have a mistake like that, because it happens to Valentino Rossi, to Mark Marquez, nobody's perfect in this game, right? But the most important thing is to understand why it happened when you did what you did, whether it was a front tuck, you getting on the gas, the rear comes out. And sometimes it's not even your fault. It's just a racing incident. It's always good to understand of why you made that mistake, so the next time you approach that, or you're feeling that limit, you know what to kind of expect. It's like, that's why I'm a big advocate, obviously, of mini racing, right, in flat track, because you're constantly sliding the front, constantly sliding the rear on the mini bikes. I talk to a lot of my friends. I'm like, dude, let's go and get a little Honda Groms and just set up in the parking lot and have fun. They're like, I'm not going to learn nothing from that. I'm like, bro, you're going to learn way more than you think you're going to learn. That bike's going to teach you so much about feel and confidence, and it's incredible. It really is. So it's,
And
yeah.
they do get used to that. This past weekend, we were in Gainesville racing with SFO, and he was on his Volley 110 qualifying, and he was on. It was actually his first lap around, and he was smoking. He was like set to BP1, and there's a sort of like a high speed bank right from the start. He just went in way too fast, just lost the rear, slid out, and it was right around the tree line. And JD goes, "Oh, I think he went down." We really couldn't see, so we're kind of waiting. All of a sudden, I see the track worker go riding over, and we're like, "All right, well, hopefully, he's okay." And come to find out, he's yelling at the guy, "Get my bike up! Get my bike up! Get me started! Get me back out there! I got to qualify!" Like a month or two ago, he would have been laying on the ground like, I want to rest. So they do get used to it, and they evolve, and it's good, because in the future you go down, you're going to get back in the race and you could still win. So yeah, that was really proud to see him go down. He still qualified P2 in that session, but yeah, it was really awesome to see.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I'm just gonna send it. And I had it pinned, and I let off slightly, And then I leaned in, I had knee down, and I was like, okay, I gotta go a little more because I saw the angle. And then I was on elbow, and I'm like, oh gosh. Then I bring both my knee, my elbow, and I lean the bike more. And it's just leaning, and then eventually I tucked the front, and then the rear kicked around. And then I was like, the guy was like, are you going? I'm like, yes. And then one of the dads was like, start the bike.
I love it. It's yeah. So one question I do have for you two, I remember when I was in high school, when I bought my first motorcycle off the showroom floor. So I was the cool kid in school, right? On a bike. Everybody else had cars and trucks and all that. I was the nerd, as it people would say, on two wheels, right? Because that's all I talked about ever. I didn't care about girl. Didn't care. If it didn't have to do with two wheels, I was not interested, right? So you two that are still in school, what do your friends think about y'all pinning the gas and doing racing?
Well, me, I barely say it because I know they're going to say, oh, that's dangerous, and they're going to say a billion things. So I only say it to my friends, and my friends are like, wait, you go 80 miles an hour? And I'm like, yeah. And then we're like, that's the speed limit. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it. Mason?
Well, when I was in school, because I'm homeschooled now, I didn't really tell like a bunch of people, except like kind of like Arthur, but like my close friends, and they all thought it was cool. But I didn't really like walk around telling everyone. So I mainly just told like my close friends, and then I switched to homeschool, and so now I mainly just talk to those close friends.
What do they call you at school now that you're not there?
Oh, they call me the racer kid.
The kid that dropped out of school to go race. He's like more famous now at his school.
I love it. But you know what? It's an inspiration for all the kids that would want to do it too as well, right? So I guarantee they're like, Dad, I need a dirt bike. I want a little PW50. I want to do SFL Mini. I want to do what Mason's doing. I want to do what Arthur's doing. It's you kids, you two are an inspiration to all your friends. You just don't even know them. 110%. JD can agree with that. Lee can agree with that. And of course, Chris can too. I remember when I didn't have the bike in school and some of my friends had them. I was like, bro, you know how jealous I was growing up? I didn't have a dirt bike, but all my friends had dirt bikes. So I just wanted my own dirt bike. That's it. I just wanted my own, right? Yeah. So and I would brag about it. Got me a bike. Check me out, right? I'm a nerd. That's all it was. So, yeah, I love it, man. I love it. But
back when I was
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say back when I was growing up too in high school and everything, I think I was like the same. I didn't really mention to too many people, but those who did know understood like how focused and how driven I was. And I think like later on as we became adults, they like, told me that we aspired to be as focused and as driven and love something as much as, all of us do racing, so I think, they might not, the kids might not realize it now, but later on they will.
110%. This is, I say this all the time. I believe this world as a whole would be a whole lot happier place if everybody had a passion like we had for two wheels, whatever that passion may be: gardening, planting trees, coloring in a book, drawing, karaoke, singing, whatever that is. If everybody had a passion like all of us did, think about how happy everybody would be in the world. Because, and Chris is right. You two, Arthur and Mason, you don't realize the impact that not only this is having on you as a human and as you evolve and grow to the man you're going to be, both of you, but the people around you too as well. It's an absolute beautiful thing. It's the whole journey. I say it all the time. It's not the destination. It's not that. Right now, you two are like, I just want to be a world superbike or whatever vision you have, right? It's not that. It's that journey getting there. That's the most important. Because at the end of the day, when you have this trophy and the 24 hours has passed, you're still going to be buzzing, but man, you're going to miss that journey getting to that trophy, right? So that's what it's about, is that journey. And the journey and the people and the friends and the family you're going to make along the way is invaluable. It's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, 100%. So let me ask you two this. Future goals, Arthur and Mason, where do you two see yourselves in the future as far as where do you want to end up, whether it's MotoGP, World Superbike, BSB, Alaman TT?
Well,
Well,
the obvious answer everyone's gonna say is everyone wants to make it to MotoGP, so probably that. But in the most realistic thing, like just being honest, is even getting to Moto3 is just a major accomplishment.
100%. Author?
well, me, for me, I would like to be in MotoGP, but already knowing about how many people want to, I know it's gonna be hard, but at least just like Moto3, just to get there and just like race, that'd make me happy.
Listen, I said this to Mason before you two jumped in, and I'm gonna say it right now too as well. Whatever goals and vision Author and Mason you guys have that you guys want to reach, man, I hope you achieve it 10 times over. And this guy right here is going to be a fan 100% every step of the way. And I can speak the same of Chris, and of course your two dads sitting here too as well. It's yeah, I like it, the element that, you know, this sport in particular, not just this sport, but there's a lot of sports. It gives kids goals to achieve to, something that they want to be, whether it's Messi or whoever it is. Bo Jackson, you guys are probably, who's Bo Jackson, right? He's the first double athlete we had, right? Baseball and football. But I'm just saying, it gives kids that goal and that drive, because now, as we said, you know, it's too many video games and stuff. We didn't have that when we were growing up. You know, we was outside kids and all these dreams. I want to be a football, soccer star, or this and that. But yeah, it's this path you two are on is a specific, beautiful journey. Again, and I've said this, not a lot of people get to do. So it's all about the journey, and enjoy every single moment of it, because time is something you can't stop, rewind, or take back. So live every moment of it, because it's a beautiful journey, you know? So yeah, absolutely amazing. So let me ask you two this, you know, everybody's got a certain hobby. Of course, I probably know what the answer is already, but I'm going to ask it anyway, right? Because I got a 12-year-old out here. What do you kids like to do away from the track?
Well, me, I can't stop driving. A video game, I really do not care. I just can't stop driving.
I knew that was coming. Mason, what do you like to do away from racing?
Aside from racing, I game, and it's pretty much it. I'm either on the bike or on the computer.
He's, believe it or not, he is a professional Fortnite player. He has earned money playing Fortnite. Yeah, so he's better than people think. It's pretty amazing. He plays tournament, but I'm so happy that that's not all his life is. You know, that he does.
Of course.
You know, they say touch grass. You know, he does go out and do this, and it's a very physical sport too. You know,
it is, right? So my son, he's a Fortnite nerd. He likes the Oculus, so I'm gonna have to link all the kids up with all the gamer tags, and y'all can get on there and Fortnite it up. But one thing I do say, you know, I like to every day go outside barefoot and walk in the grass where I'm connected to the earth, right? It's one of the best feelings you can do away from social media, work, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it is go outside in Mother Nature and enjoy the sun and feel the grass underneath your feet. You know, it's to me, that's important. I like to do ice cold plunges and breathing exercises and, you know, all that stuff, which y'all two are probably like, yeah, okay, whatever. I just want to play my video games and ride my motorcycles. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. But I do have a question too, you know, is, you know, Author and Mason, your two journeys is just beginning, right? So, and there's a lot of kids, like I said, that listen to this podcast. So what advice do you two give to the younger generation that wants to get into the sport that's coming through right now? What advice would you give to those kids?
Probably that dad's going to tell you the same thing coaches, and you're never going to listen to dad.
yeah, listen to
And you're
dad.
always going to listen to coach.
Save money on the coaching and listen to the dad a little, right? No, it's true though. These boys and JD, every dad will tell you the kid just doesn't listen to me. And you know, Rick Glover and Coop, you know, Coop's one of our riders on our team, and we were at the track last weekend, and Rick's just like, he doesn't listen to me, but he will listen to Chris verbatim and do exactly what Chris says. It's how it is, you know. But yeah.
it's I say it too. It's my son. Like I said before we went live, I tell my son something. Chris will tell him the same thing, and he'll be like, "Yeah, no problem, sir. I got you." I'm like, "Bro, I just told you that, but dads don't count. It don't matter what we say; they know it all." I'm there with my 12-year-old. So my son told me the other day. I asked him something. He's like, "Oh, I already know, Dad." I was like, "Cool. So give me your cell phone. I'm gonna turn all our cell phones in. I'm gonna get rid of the computer because you know it all. So we don't need social media. We don't need any of that." He's like, "That's not what I mean, Dad." So I like to give my son a hard time too as well. So it's that push and give. But fathers and sons have obviously a different relationship than coach and kid, right? Which is again, it's a beautiful thing. But knowing a bunch of fathers and sons growing up and racing through SFL Mini right now and other organizations too as well, I know being a dad, and I said this earlier, the hardest thing would be trying to step away because we only want the best for our kids. We want to give them the best advice, even though they don't want to hear it from us. We want to give them the best advice. We want to teach them the best because we want them at the end of the day to be better than us, to make more money than us, and be, so to speak, happier than us, if that's possible, right? That's what we want for our kids. And that's why Artur and Mason, we constantly tell you this, right? So that's no pun intended. I'm just saying, I'm a dad. I know. So it's absolutely amazing to see. But one question I have for the dads, how did all this come together?
Well, for me and Mason, obviously, I saw this cheap little pocket bike, like he said, and it was a couple $100, and then he started riding around the neighborhood. Couldn't get him off the thing every single day. That's all he wanted to do. So I was like, okay, and it did like 21 miles an hour. It was like pathetic little two-stroke thing, And so I started looking at what else is there, And so I started seeing mini bikes, and like the Volley and so on. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool for some little bit expensive compared to a couple $100 thing. So then through the searching, I came across the SFL Mini GP and jumped in their group. And I'll tell you what, there's no community that I've ever seen that's like, well, one, the racing community, because everywhere we traveled, you are a big family. But the SFL group, I mean, they welcome everybody, open arms. There's competition, but it's such a brotherhood there, and everybody helps each other. Even JD, when we were first at the track, when Mason started, Mason and Artur were racing against each other on 50s. Of course, Artur was lapping Mason not that long ago. But JD, he saw some on the tire. And he goes, "Hey, whatever." He told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, thank you. I didn't know." And it's just everybody looks out, and so it's an amazing community. So as we were doing this more and more, he wanted to get better, and it was almost about this time a year ago that we hired Chris to come on and start really getting serious about it, and in talking with Chris, and we live 4 hours from the track, so Chris and I spent a lot of time riding 4 hours back, 4 hours there. And so just talking about everything, and things started in my brain thinking about, well, if he's going to get into this and he loves it so much, I'll start a little business and put the bikes underneath it so I can write them off and the travel and everything. And I could pay Chris and, for the coaching lessons and all. And then when the season ended, I was thinking about how we could, help other kids that are extremely talented, but don't have the opportunity or the funds or, whatever to travel and everything. So I wanted to sponsor, at first it was just a couple kids, kind of like one in each group is how it started. So, Artur was, such a nice young man. We met at the track, and he's so polite and respectful. And, so I offered him a seat like on the team. And then Abel Cabrera, who's 8 or 9 years old now, I think he might be 9. He rides in the 50 class. And so we had all the kids classes covered for this season. And then there was some other people like Yamari, who was on your show a few months ago, Matthew Campbell, then of course Coop. We brought them in, and next thing I know, we actually had a rider in every category, every class in SFO. So it worked out great. And Yamari and Matthew, they're pretty new riders as well. They've been riding maybe slightly longer than Mason. And so it was kind of a team of underdogs. I wanted to give I didn't want to just sign the best kids out there, the best adults out there. So we kind of got the group of underdogs, and with Chris's, coaching especially, the whole team were collecting podiums throughout the season in all these different categories. And so it's really awesome for me to see that, to be able to, help these people that are new get better and something that they love and get on the podium. And I think almost everybody on our team, except like Arthur and Coop, they got their first podium this season, So yeah, so it's just like amazing to see that.
I love it. And dude, thank you for doing what you do. It's very important for our sport to have a team like yours based around the youth, right? So we're saying that, JD and Lee, what's one thing about the youth sport in racing that you two would like to see changed?
Go ahead, JD. I should take that one.
Changing the sport. We need to try to get more communication, like get more people involved, like motocross. You can actually turn on your TV and watch motocross. They have motocross events everywhere. They have all that. So that exposure, we need to bring it back, because talking with, by example, with John Hopkins, who was in California, that's something that he mentioned back in 80s, 90s. You turn on the TV and you see guys on motocross, you see guys on street bikes, racing all the way around the world. Right now, you don't know. The only people that know about MotoGP is the people that know the ride bikes on the tracks. And like, by example, him, when we tell them, yeah, he rides bikes, he rides motorcycles on the track. Oh yes, like dirt bikes. Like, no, they are road racing. It's road racing. Is on the road, on a track, without, like big bikes, like crush rockets. Oh, I got it now. But everybody think about motocross. We need to, get some of that market over to road racing.
100%.
Yeah, it's like that in basically the rest of the world. I mean, Spain, Italy, Europe, Asia. In fact, there's a lot less dirt biking. I mean, we're like kind of the dirt bike capital of the world. But I'll tell you that these kids that are riding dirt bikes, when they do get on these road bikes, they're amazing. Because they've got the throttle control and used to the bike getting loose. So if anybody that watches this, if your kid's into dirt biking, go try a mini bike on a car track. One, they're going to love it, but they'll be very good at it. I mean, it translates so well.
100%. So a question for both dads is for all the dads out there that are listening to this, what's the biggest challenge that parents face with their kids getting into racing?
On my end, one of the big challenges is having the facility nearby. That's first, right? Unfortunately, in Florida, we have two tracks. One is very pro bike, and one is very busy with karts. So there's only 2 days at that track. So really, we have one solid track in Florida, and some other states might not have any at all. And so if we can, help keep these tracks open, or even convert some tracks, whatnot, to keep the sport alive, that we need to do first. Because if the tracks close up, the sport's gone. Unless you wait till you get to the big bikes, whatnot. But and now in Florida, we have essentially one main track, and then Homestead, which is like a track day track. And so having that availability is very important. Is not closing the tracks, and then supporting the kids and getting them into this through organizations like SFL, New Jersey Mini GP. They have they have a few different ones over in California and Texas and so on. But just being involved in those and supporting those organizations is extremely important to grow this.
100%. I can't. If we didn't have programs like SFL Mini GP, whether it's Jersey or Florida, we wouldn't be sitting there having this conversation. Arthur and Mason would be out there racing, right? Chris would be out of job right now, right? So, yeah, it's very important to and something I tell dads and parents. It's like, look, it's unfortunately where you are, there's not a whole lot of tracks. But instead of doing that, go buy some orange cones and go to an empty parking lot, set it up, and do exactly what you guys are doing. Make them start doing figure eights and just come up with different configurations. Listen, our sport's so, in the scheme of things, it's so small, but it's so big. Our beautiful circus is what I call it. All you got to do is ask, and you'll get tons of advice on what to do next. So, just get out there and make it happen and have fun. It is harder for some people in other states that don't have the opportunity that's close by 4 hours or 2 hours away, like you two are from SFL, mini and courses. So it's
we're actually moving soon to be closer to the track. That's how he's gone all in. I mean, when at the beginning of the year, when he showed dedication and was literally training every day after school, talking about doing parking lot like every day after school, and then working with Chris, we would go to the track on a Thursday, and he was missing school, and so he proved that he wanted to do this, and he was already doing very well in school. So for him to transition to online school, it wasn't a problem. His grades are fantastic, so I wasn't worried about, because we take education first, serious. And so we had the opportunity to go to the track, train in the parking lots, and he's been able to gain 3-4 years of experience in literally this 1 year. So he went from being a very beginner rider, just dragging his knee, to now competing at the FIM. He got second place in Moto America Nationals on the Spec 110, and so he's come such a long way in a short amount of time with the dedication. And so we owe so much of that to Chris being available. So if you have a coach available and you can work with them, you can go from a beginning rider to a very competitive rider in a short amount of time if you're dedicated. You work at it. So
100%. JD.
The biggest challenge is going to be location, trying to find an empty parking lot. Because it's a lot of parking lots, but sometimes you get run off by the cops or even security. Sometimes you get cool cops, and they are like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" They call them because they think that we are doing wheelies, and when they see them, like full leathers, all the safety gear, and they're doing the figure eights, some cops are cool. But trying to find an empty parking lot, the closest, is one of the hardest things. The other one would be information regarding what type of bike and how to do it. SFL have really good information regarding what bikes you can do for classes, but how to get the bike converted to that is what we need. We need things like, you get a KLX 110, but you have to go, this is a wet size, so you can order a whole new wheel, like spoke wheel, ready to go. Or you can order this. You need to contact, somebody who can relace a wheel for that hub. These tires are, they're going to work. These tires, they don't work for this type of things. That type of detail, that helps, because I have to go through a lot of things in order to get information. on how to get the bikes, working for that.
Oh, 100%. You know, I say this all the time. I think a huge missed opportunities are local dealerships. You know, you often go in local dealerships. There's nothing about track days, SFL Mini, even racing organizations coming up at VIR, right? There's no local dealership around me that says anything about VIR, corner speed, corner spin, none of that, right? So to me, it's like your local dealerships would have a huge role to play and to help maintain and grow our sport too as well by simply, hey, at JD, if you're coming in and you want to buy a Fuller, but you got Arthur with you, it's like, hey, you guys ever heard of track days or SFL Mini GP? You can actually get Arthur on this little 50 and get him out there. Here's a brochure or here's a website. You guys go check it out, right? To me, that's just a huge missed opportunity. Think about how many people go into dealerships every day, whether it's to buy a pair of gloves, a helmet, whatever, but they're provided for any information to actually grow this sport. You know what I mean? So that's something I would love to see dealerships also implement as well. I remember when I was growing up and I went down to my local dealership, Geo's, it don't exist anymore. It was a family of racing. They loved racing. So it's, hey, a Saturday, AMA, yeah, back in AMA, right? Hey, what we're doing, we're going to have popcorn. We're going to have a cookout. Come by, have fun, show up. And they talked about track days and going to VR and talked about corner speed and corner spin. So they got people involved. Now you go to a dealership, it's what can we sell you?
Yeah.
How many units do you want? Oh, do you want a helmet to go with that? You know, it's nothing about raising our youth to get into racing or to get into dirt bikes. You know, you come in, they approach you, it's what are you here to look at? Is there anything I can help you with? You know, and you as a dad, you don't have no idea, right? But if somebody opened your eyes to that and gave you that information, think about how much further along we would be as a whole.
Yeah, that's a really funny point. In a couple of the classes, well, one of the classes that Mason races is called Spec 110, where it's basically a bone stock bike. You know, you're allowed to change the wheels and handlebars and everything. So trying to find a stock, KLX 110 on Marketplace is hard because everyone's modified them. And so we did end up buying one at the dealership. And so when I went into the dealership to buy it, they were like, oh, what do do you ride, race? And I tried to explain to them what we're doing with it on. And they were like, at first confused, because I was like, no, it's for mini racing and this is what he does. And they're like, huh? And I literally had to show them pictures and videos of what he was. And they were blown away, like, oh my God, that's so cool. They wanted like a picture to hang up in the dealer. So you're 100% right about that. The dealerships really should get more involved, and maybe that's something that we could look at and doing it. And then what JD mentioned with the parts, I went through a lot of struggle because when SFL, their website has all the details on what you can do to the bike, but then you have to go find it. So I spent countless hours and tons of time buying the wrong stuff on Amazon and other websites to try to get these bikes converted from dirt to road or the kart tracks. And so originally with my goal was to sell basic parts that help people like me that got started in this to get the bike converted over so we can get more people on the track. The first thing that came to mind was the stock pegs on the dirt bike. When they're, dragging knee, they're dragging pegs and it's lifting up the back tire and then they end up melting and shaving the stock foot pegs down. So we, some people fabricate or will, try to buy like aftermarket peg risers, which gives them, 2 inches higher pegs so that when they lean over, they have more clearance. And so that's one of the first things that even JD, before I had even met him, he designed his own and fabricated his own. And I was doing the same with mine. But there are tons of, people getting into this that they don't know about. In fact, I've actually helped other people in the paddock with SFL by giving them the pegs that we had, kind of manufactured. And so with that, I wanted to form MP3 Motorsports to have parts and products that's geared towards initially converting over the bikes from dirt to track to make it easy, and different kits for the different bikes. And so that's been underway. It's a little bit behind schedule because kind of and didn't anticipate the amount of racing we would have done this season. In addition to SFL, JD and Arthur and Chris and I, we all went to California for 5 races out in California since April, and then the Motor America National Race, and so it's been just a ton of traveling, and that's a whole conversation in itself of what we learned, and by or I should say the boys have learned by studying a track they've never been to, going there and approaching it, and then with JD, tuning the suspension on the bike. And as they've gotten faster, we've had to change the setup too, because both Mason and Arthur have continued to get faster this year racing. And the suspension setup that we were running doesn't work now because they're pushing harder. And so we're stiffening this, loosening that, and everything. So it's been just, so much knowledge that we've gained over this year. It's been, unbelievable. So.
I love it. That's again, that all goes along with the little pieces of the puzzle that comes together to grow into the sport, because there's not a lot of information out there. And what you're doing with MP3, getting parents into the sport and knowing what to look for and knowing what to buy is a huge step to keeping people into the sport. It's a hassle buying a bike and then trying to figure it out, like you said, buying all these parts that don't even mean anything, so it's wasted time and energy and money on stuff that don't matter, versus having, like, again, at a dealership, hey, if your kids are into racing, these are the classes that they offer, this is the bikes we recommend, these are the parts that you're going to need to be provided for him to progress and grow, and yada yada yada. And Lee and JD working together as a team, you two are growing together too as well, because JD has certain knowledge that Lee don't have, and you guys work together and you grow together, right? So it's a beautiful circus, as I always say, right? But it's the only circus in town where the clowns got to pay to play, right? And I definitely want that. So it's right. So it's all, again, the whole sum of the picture, and it's very important. And I say it, to have the right information, to know what to do, to know where to go, to know who to ask, to know what to buy, to get into it, because it's tricky getting into something that looks cool, that sounds like fun, and then this box opens up and you're like overwhelmed with everything that hits you at one time. You don't know how to respond to that. Where if you had a simple, okay, we can do this and this. This is what we need. These are the parts we need to order. Boom. Coaches. You said something about coaches. Let me get out there on social media. Hey, any coaches near me available? I got a kid doing this, doing that. And, it opens up the world instead of being dark in the tunnel with a little lighter trying to see where you're going, because that's basically what it is when you're getting into this sport. Because you have like my first track day, I went to MMI. Everybody's like, dude, let's go do a track day. Of course I watched road race, and I'm like, dude, let's go. I had no idea you had a safety wire your bike. So here I show up, running through tech, and they looked at me like, where's your safety wire? And I was looking like, what is safety wire? What are you talking about? This is alien to me, right? But I was not provided with that information beforehand. I didn't have that knowledge. I didn't have that brochure to go by, right? Where if I did, I would have felt more prepared. There's a lot of anxiety and stuff that goes in getting into this sport. Not so much as Arthur and Mason, because they're young, but as me are getting into it older, right? Chris and everybody else, there's a lot of stigmata and pressure and everything. But I feel like if I had that guidance and that brochure away, a lot of that would have been relieved, and I wouldn't have been so stressed out going into my first event, right? And I've seen a lot of people show up to their first event and get totally turned off because they didn't have a good time and they didn't understand, and they got frustrated, right? Which is not good for the sport. So that goes back along with the dealerships. They have a huge part to play. Matter of fact, to me, besides the TV coverage, the dealerships is the first step to get into racing, because that's where you're going to go to buy your bike, or on Craigslist, right? Or wherever. But 9 times out of 10, like me, I'm going to dealership. I'm buying this $2,000 brand new bike. It's nothing, right? Let's go. But again, you don't have that information. You just thinking dirt bike trails. Now where am I going to take them to ride? We didn't have a program like SFL Mini back then, So it's super important. Lee, what you're doing with MP3, again, that's a little piece of that puzzle that makes that big, beautiful picture in people's lives easier getting into this sport. It's that knowledge, right? So let me ask Artur and JD, what have you two gentlemen learned getting into this sport? And what changes would you like to see personally moving forward as far as the future of SFL Mini or just any kids organization when it comes to two wheels?
Well, me, the most amount of things I learned through my journey, I was thinking, okay, so I see that I was like 1 second away from the first place. So I was like, okay, I got this. So I get 1 second better. But after I see the other guy got also 1 second better. So I was like, wait, I thought I was gonna be right next to him. And after I started thinking, wait, if they just get better, well, I need to get better faster. And that's something I learned.
I love it. Great answer too, Artur. It just goes to show, everything you've learned and what a great mindset you have and wealth of knowledge because of Chris at a young age that you have and what you're bringing, right? So there's a lot of kids they're going to be listening to this and parents that's going to learn a lot from Artur and Mason, and of course, JD and Lee too as well, right? But kids tend to listen to kids more than to listen to parents, just saying. So yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So Mason and Lee and JD, where do you guys see the future of our kids youth program as far as SFL and other programs?
Well, I'll tell you what we need, and before I forget, I have to say this is we're talking about the journey that they're on. I have to give a ton of credit to Mike Correa. Seriously, he has helped me and Mason navigate from starting to where we're at and where how to get to where we want to go, right? Because I can't even imagine how much headache he's spent navigating all of this with Julian, and where Julian's at, it's amazing. Like that's like our goal and dream is to do that. And so he's so giving with his time and information and sharing, and just he's unbelievable. So but what we need is more of that, really. And what I mean is we need to start training the kids. I had asked Mike Correa one time, I said, if you could change anything in the sport or add, what would it be? And he goes, a training academy. We don't have the schooling, the type of academies like they have over in Europe and Spain, where these kids are unbelievably, good. So if we can get a program here in the US to take the kids that they can attend and get the skills, and there's also a path to being a pro racer. They have that opportunity to do that, because in the US you have kids that their dads rode a race and they teach the kids and they become very well and or a good rider. Then they go to Europe and it's like these kids are on another level. We've seen that now where Mason and Artur are very fast locally, and then we went to California and raced against the best kids, and those kids are on another level. And those kids who we're like, oh my God, I mean, like what Artur mentioned is, how is that kid so much faster than me? When that guy goes to Europe, he's like 20th. It's like how, like, oh my God, it's unbelievable the levels of this. And so we really need to have a more pro training academy for the kids that do want to do this and see it through. And that's something that I know Chris and me and JD and we're working on that. So that's definitely what we need. We need a place that these kids can learn to do this.
Oh, 110%. I can't agree more, right? It's like I get asked that question. What advice would you give for me if I want to do a path to MotoGP? And the answer is very simple for me right now as we speak. Sell all your stuff and move to Europe. That's what you got to do. I mean, unfortunately, we're not structurally set up to have that path. We don't have that, like you said, the training facility. And Eli Block is texting me right now. It's like, send me a link. He wants to jump in here and speak too. Here in a minute. He's like, look, he said, yeah, Eli, I'm calling you out right now. He says, yo, you want to send me the link to join real quick? Don't be ignoring me with a bunch of laughing emojis. That's hilarious. So
we met Eli at the SFL training camp that they do every year, and he and I were talking, and he's an awesome guy. He was racing last year with Matthew Chapin, and so when I was talking to him about his plans, he really didn't have a seat in Moto America, this year and everything, but he wanted to still try to get back in Moto America and do a bunch of other racing like the NEMMRR, whatever. And so I've helped sponsor him with MP3 as well. We also sponsored Julian with the British Talent Cup and the Moto America Talent Cup as well. But so Eli is just an amazing young guy, and we're looking forward to him coming down and helping Arthur and Mason with some flat track training. And so over the break between the season, that's one of the plans, is to get them more on the dirt and flat tracking, because it does benefit them. So
100%, and speaking of Carrera real quick, Michael, man, again, Michael, I know you're listening because you had chimed in. I just hadn't got to the hundreds of comments that's flooding in right now. But listen, Michael, it's all because of you. You're like the grandfather of what's going on right now in SFL Mini GP. And, bro, it's nothing but love, dude, straight up. Because if it wasn't for you taking it over to where we are right now, I wouldn't be having this conversation with Arthur or Ella or Avery or any of them, Juju or none of them, right? So you, my friend, is absolutely proper, Megan. It's all because of you is the reason why we're here doing what we're doing right now. So nothing but love. And look at this guy right here. What is up?
How it going? How's it going?
Good, man. You?
Dude, just happy to be here.
It's always an honor to see you, my friend.
Dude, I met these guys down at the 3-day camp this winter, and man, it's been awesome to meet Lee, Mason. I met Arthur a little bit, DJ down at I think I really met them at the camp that Chris was hosting when I came back down for Daytona. And dude, what these guys are doing is insane. It's next level. I have not seen something like this in a long time, and these kids are going somewhere, man. Kids are making a huge step in the right direction, and bro, it makes me happy to see it.
I love it, man. You're right. Again, if it wasn't for, the SFL taking off and somebody like Lee stepping up and coming in with the whole MP3, and basically Lee, in my opinion, is kind of like taking it into his own, so to speak, right? With the same path, but a different path, just making the same game, but a little bit better, right? Bringing that little extra step to it to improve everybody, right? It's not just about him and Mason and Arthur. It's the whole sport, that whole continue. Again, I say it all the time. It's the little puzzle pieces that's going to make this whole puzzle. And what Lee is doing with MP3 and you too, Eli, you're a freaking legend, bro. You and Chris, and what you two do for our Kids of Our Sport, and what the time and effort you two put in to take away from your busy lives, from your wives and your girlfriends and everything else you got going on, to put that love and dedication in. You two are also the reason why we are all sitting here having this conversation. So you two are just as much respected and loved as Michael Carrera, SFL Mini, and everybody. Again, it's that same little puzzle pieces that make up that big picture. And there's many of those, that need to fall in place. So I commend you, Eli, for sure.
To be mentioned with the likes of Michael Correa is a huge compliment, honestly. So I appreciate it. We and I'm sure Eli could say the same for both of us, right? Is the passion we have for this it extends more than just our careers, right? We want to see our American kids and all of our kids that we grew up with, and all the kids that we see growing up now, and using our help and our tips to make it all the way to MotoGP. That would be the like the cherry on top of all this, would be them all making it to MotoGP. But whatever happens, and I'm just glad to be a part of their journey entirely, because I feel strongly like a career but is destined for these kids, for how much help and support through Michael Correa, SFL Mini GP, Eli Block, all the coaches and everybody, even you Simcoe that are bringing, you know, some of the you know, the insight to the media, as well as I think career is destined for them.
100%. You know, it's funny because we were just talking about career. He just texted me right now. So this is what career said. I'm gonna mention it live on the podcast, Michael. He says, "I love you, buddy. Thanks for the shout out. Much appreciated. It's all about the people that show up. They really make us Florida special. 110%." Again, you know, I feel like a broken record right now. It's these little puzzle pieces that make up the sum of the whole picture. But people don't realize how very important each one of those little puzzle pieces is. Eli, Chris, Arthur, JD, Mason, Lee, Michael Correa, all those are those little puzzle pieces that's making this whole picture, right? And without each and every one of them, again, our sport wouldn't be where it was. And that's why I'm such a huge fan of SFL Mini, or Jersey and South Florida, and all the dedication that people put into it. You know, people often, they show up to the track and they see Eli rolling around this leather suit, and how much does he get paid to do it? They have no idea the back work that goes in to realizing his dream. Arthur and Mason, right? Same thing. It's like people don't understand what it takes to live your dream in this sport. It's not just turn on the PlayStation, plug in the controller, and get into it, right? There's so much more to it. And when fans show up, to the track, and they see you walking around these suits, they automatically assume you're making a living doing this. It's far from the truth. We do it solely because we're massively in love with this sport. So I had this question the other day, and I actually asked who this question was geared towards, the same question, to see if my answer was the same as his, right? So they said, why do you think Josh still races at 50 years old, Hayes? I was like, the answer to me is so simple, because he is so massively still in love with this sport. He wants to still give it his all. Not only that, he wants to help the youth of the sport, right? Because we really need that. So when I seen Josh at Mid-Ohio, I was like, hey, Josh, I have a question for you. This is the question I've been asked, and this is my answer. What do you think? He says, you're absolutely 110% precise, right? If you're not in love with something truly and deeply, you're not going to give it your all, right? And it's such a passion. It's not even a job. It's fun, right? So it's truly amazing to have people that give it their all, that don't want no limelight. You know what I mean? That don't want to be recognized for it, but want to see the outcome be even better for the future of Two Wheels. So massive thank you to everybody on this screen right now and everybody listening that has a hand to play. Without each and every single one of you, again, Eli wouldn't be out there kicking butt. Chris wouldn't be out there kicking butt and coaching. Arthur wouldn't be out there kicking his dad's butt. Mason, well, you know, he's beating everybody right now. So let's go. You know what I mean? So it's that whole sum of every important part of the whole journey for the sum. So it's absolutely amazing to personally be involved and to see him grow. And it's good to see you, Eli, my man. It's been a while.
You too. Dude, I have nothing to talk about. That's the thing. Just riding around, having some fun.
You got plenty to talk about, but you were breaking up there. One thing I heard was farm.
Can you hear me now?
You're back.
Maybe.
No.
Hold on. Let me get. Hold up. We're still going. Hold up.
No, you're good. Eli, while you're getting situated, Chris,
I'm back.
For you. Chris.
You hear me now?
Yeah, well, I can. I'm going to ask Chris a question real quick, Eli. And
Cool.
You can actually answer this too, because it can be geared, both of you. You know, growing up, racing, being where you two are at right now, I know both of you have coached many people before at all ages, right? But what's different about training the youth of our sport versus somebody that's older just getting into our sport? What is the main differences, and is the approach any different?
I think the one of the biggest things is the the actual, like, we say it all the time, these kids are sponges, but you don't really get to see it until you work with both of them. And with one student on the older side would probably take one thing at a time and take, you know, maybe a day or two to actually get that one thing down. With some of these kids, it's like as one thing, one session, and then they're right back at you. Okay, what's next?
You're like,
I
I'm
think
trying to keep
one of
up.
the
What are you
biggest
talking
differences.
about?
Yeah. All right, what's next? I already got it. But yeah, that's one of the biggest differences to me.
What about you, Eli?
Yeah, I think I was literally gonna say they're sponges, dude. It's like, it's also like a lot of, because I coach with Penguin Road Racing School, so it's like I do coach with a lot of guys in their 50s or 40s. They've been riding for 20 something years. They've already created bad habits. They've already created all these bad habits, and nope, this is what I learned, and this is what works for me. Nah, dude, you're gonna kill yourself out there. So it's not gonna work for you when you're 6 feet under. And it's like, we tell these kids, and it's like, all right, maybe they've only been riding, like Mason, he's only been riding for a year. He's still able to learn because he's been guided in the right direction. But even if he wasn't not guided in the direction, he's still at the age now that he doesn't have that fear where it's like, okay, go try this. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but go try it. And he can shut that switch off in his brain and be like, okay, let's try it. He said, I trust this guy. He does it. Let me do it. So, and as like, you know, it's funny, I'm starting to come to the age, and it's not like I'm old, but it's like, dude, when I first started, everyone fearless. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not. I'm fearless. I'm fierce, bro. And now I look back and I'm like, damn, I was stupid like that. I didn't get one flying beep. But yeah, like, dude, like I'm 22. I'm 23 years old now. I've broken my back like 2 times. I'm out of this. I'm not trying to learn something that I can get hurt. And it's like, dude, back when I was 14, 15, when I first started, I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, try dragging your elbow wide open. I'll do it. Like, these are what these kids are doing, and they love it. And that's why they learn. They're willing to take those risks, and they're like, I'll just bounce back up. We're good. So it's, I love it. I love working with kids much more than working with adults. It is better.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the
right.
word. That's the best part.
To their point, we were actually in a race in Apex, and you know, we're looking at the times and everything, and we're trying to figure out like why down this one straightaway that all the riders were catching Mason. He's fast in the turns, high mile an hour, corner speed's great, but down the one main straight, everybody'd be 1 or 2 miles an hour, and they would catch him and walk him. And we're trying to figure it out. And so we're like, you're making the throttle's wide open, right? And he's like, yeah, you know. So one thing we and nobody even noticed this because, you know, you're out on the track. When he was shifting, you know, upshifting, he was clutching in, shifting, and you know, clutching out. And we're like, no, just blip it and just go. And so I was like, well, I don't know if we're in the middle of a race, you know, like we'd probably just doing qualifying. I was like, maybe someone will practice at home. No, being a kid, he went out, nailed it. He's been doing it ever since. And that's like a major change that was like every time you shift, you're used to doing it. He pivoted to a completely different method in the middle of a race and has done it ever since correctly, you know. So yeah, being a kid for the coaches, it's, you know, they're more pliable, you know.
100%.
Makes our job a little easier.
They ain't trying to hear it from daddy. Trust me. They're like, okay, dad, whatever. You don't know nothing. And then here comes Eli and Chris saying the same thing. You're like, wait a minute. I just told you that, right? And they're like, yeah, okay, dad, but you still don't know what you're talking about.
No, something else have helped a lot.
Look at Arthur. Arthur's laughing. He's like, yeah. Sorry,
No,
Eli.
definitely. The tool, like on the past, we used to use just a regular lap timer, just time. You can see the variation of the time, but that was it. And after that, we just started evolving. You start using tools like, by example, putting a camera on the front, putting a camera on the back, maybe on the on the helmet, getting a GPS lap timer, and those tools. He get off the bike, we get that telemetry, that information, and Mason and Arthur, they sit down with Chris. Look, this is what you're doing on this corner. They're saying, "Oh no, I'm going, I'm going full throttle around here. Or I'm braking on this location." I'm like, "No, look at the camera. You're braking here. Look at the GPS data. You are letting off the gas over here. Or look at your line. You have to come over closer in this direction." Those tools help them, both of them, like go forward. Have to learn that track because we only had videos from YouTube, rails from Instagram, and a Google view of that track. We don't know any information, so they had to learn a lot on a short period of time, and having Chris there, rely on that information. Hey, do you see this on this on this corner? You have to change that. You have to swap it over. You know, um, but those tools help them a lot to move on it. We are looking forward for more information. We see that the more information we get and we are able to provide them at this young age, it's gonna be better because they get let's say 18, 20, and they get a telemetry guy and they show them a telemetry graph. They don't know what they're talking about. If we teaching them from a young age, GPS, camera, this is what's going on, they know. Now Mason and Arthur, I have more time with Arthur the past couple of years, but we are doing the same with Mason. He had to come out from the track every session and have to say something about what he did on the bike, what did he feel it, so we can work on it. And it's been better ever since.
That's been tremendous to their success. It's like everything, like you said, the puzzle, everything adds up. And if you're doing one thing, that's great. But just like studying the track maps, and you literally have to do it all. But the fact that they're now giving us feedback and we can correct chatter on the bike and in certain areas, it makes them more confident and they can push harder and go faster. And then of course, like you mentioned, having Chris, there was certain sectors over at Apex specifically where there's this like high speed S, and instinctively you want to roll off the throttle and just kind of flow through there and then get back on it. And Chris is like, no, he goes, you need to be leaned over and pin it. And then as you come back, you're still on the gas. You just come back to the other side and just stay on it. And you drop like 2 seconds off your lap time by doing that. But instinctively, you as a kid or whatever, even an adult, you wouldn't think to do it that way, So having a professional rider and coach giving that information to them and then them giving us the feedback, my goal with the team was, even though we're at the mini level, to try to be like a professional team and have all the pieces. And because one day they'll, like JD said, who knows where they'll be, but they could be a pro rider, or we might have a pro race team, and who knows, I was telling you earlier that when Kevin Rodeo was on your podcast and he was talking about years ago, I was like, dude, that's literally me right now, everything he was going through. And look at how his, team evolved and what they're doing. That could be us. I don't know. But the more practice we get, the more practice they get at being a professional, it's just, we're trying to set them up for success,
Oh, dude, listen, 100%. And I feel like the more that kids understand that, why they're a sponge and soak it all in as far as suspension, coming back and giving that feedback and looking at the squiggly lines on the computer and actually understanding with them. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm doing this. You're like, no, bro, you're doing this. You need to be doing this. There's a difference. And when you start out, you're right. Our natural instinct when we come up to the S is we want to roll off and then flip it and then get back on the gas. But if you actually stay in the gas a little bit, it actually helps you transition from side to side as you maintain speed. So your drive out's going to be even quicker and faster, right? But all that comes with the knowledge and somebody like Chris and Eli coming on the team and helping. And then the whole data side and suspension, the more I feel like, especially now, it's so important with all the technology we got on motorcycles, because it's basically almost an engineer sport when they get to that top professional stage, with the engine braking and the traction control and the anti-wheelie and the yes and the that and the yings and the whys and it's I'm more of an old school proper way of racing. That's why I love BSB so much. They're 240 horsepower motorcycles with this much electronics on it, so it's old school proper way of racing, but for the majority of this sport, it's all the bikes are so smart. They know what track they're at, what corner they're in, what gear they're on, what they're having for dinner, what kind of fuel they're eating, all that good stuff. So it's the more that the youth of our sports has that natural understanding of what the future is going to hold for them as they progress through these levels, right? It's like Mario Kart and all that, right? You progress the levels, you get faster and better, and the game gets a little bit more challenging and harder because you're making those progressions and you're stepping up and you're racing somebody like Eli and Chris that you sit back and you watch, you're like, wow, I want to be that fast one day. We've all been on the track where we've had that big old dose of humble pie, right? From somebody like Arthur or Mason, you're like, dude, 12 years old, I ain't worried about that. You're out there, you're like, well, I'm getting in. Here comes this little kid like, meow, on the outside. Next thing you know, you come in, you're asking him, what was you doing in that corner? They really don't know. They're like, I was doing this and I was going like this, right? But when they have that understanding, they can teach the adults, be like, yeah, I was doing this and I was waiting outside peg and I was blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, okay. So it's that puzzle pieces, right? So, and you're back, Eli. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you was back. Say something again.
Oh
my God.
The audio.
Your audio's horrible, brother.
It's cutting off.
You're cutting out. Do you need the microphone? It's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, sitting here talking to the two dads, knowing Michael Carrera of the SFO mini program, being in it for the past 3 years, getting to know all these future legends of the sports coming in and out, I've physically seen the progression. Like I physically see the growth. I physically see new people coming in and making a name for themselves. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And you're right, Lee and JD, it's very important to have. We said this earlier, Chris and Eli, that, given that they're all their whole lives, but also to take out from their personal time because they're still in love with it, to help Mason and Arthur out to realize their dreams too as well. So it's again, it's a beautiful circus where only the clowns get to pay to play, right? So I love it. Listen, we got a whole lot of comments in here, so I just want to take a minute and get to all these comments because I'd feel bad if I didn't. So the first one is we got Mackenzie. Hello, EVB.
Everybody. That's my sister.
There you go, right? I was like, EVB, what is that? But see, I learned something new today. Never stop learning, right? She said, hello, everybody. I like it. Thank you, Mackenzie, for joining in. I appreciate it. Then we got Jolie Mesa. Hello. What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. And then RJ10. Hello. Of course, RJ. Right? Mm-hmm. Arthur and Mason, you guys knew RJ, right?
I heard of him.
He's a buddy's kids of mine that he rides too as well. So he wants to get into racing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to introduce everybody together and make it go. And then we got listen, I'm sorry if I mispronounce people's name. I'm not the best name pronunciator. So
Dianita.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much, JD, for helping me out. Dude.
No, bro.
You can see I was totally lost. I was like, But thank you for tuning in. You are absolutely amazing. Then we got Nestor. What is up, Nestor? Hello. Brent says, "What's up, y'all? What's going on?" We got Fox Girl says she is ready. We all are. Absolutely. Let's go. Ride to Death, meaning SFL Mini, right? Ride to Death. Been riding with Artur since he first started. Riding unbelievable progress. Full sender. Let's go. I love it. Let's see. We got Pavlova. I murdered that name.
Pavlova.
Thank you, JD. You know, when I bring these up, you just go ahead and you take it, right? So, yeah, I Artur from Lovella in, I'm sorry, I don't want to read your name. Yes, I thank you so much for joining in. And thank you, Artur, JD, for helping me out because I would be lost right now. See, team effort. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is what it's about. Mackenzie says, Mason's sister here, so proud. And you should be. We're all proud of Mason, right? And of course, his dad too as well, and JD and Artur. It's and Chris and Eli and everybody else. That again, it's a beautiful circus, and everybody's got their role to play, and each role is super important too as well. So, we got Jackie Marino, my son, my here. Thank you for joining in. We got Cynthia. So proud of all of you. Yes, we are. Absolutely, we are. We got Nestor Gonzalez says, good job, boys. So proud of you. We got Joe again says, Artur, you are my champion. Keep going. Foxy Rider Girl says, Mason's little sister is one to keep an eye on. She's already riding and super young.
She's talking about my youngest daughter, Olivia, is 3 now, but she started riding a stick at 2. And so when we did a track rental with the team, we were practicing and we did a coaching day with Chris. She was out riding the car track on her little bike. And also JD's daughter, Sophie, she does that. They both girls are 3 years old riding there. So yeah, those two are definitely 2 to look out for because they're going to have a lot of help in coaching, and we have a lot of bikes to hand down to them. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
And Mason and Artur, y'all two better watch out. Yeah. He said, yeah, he knows already. He's like, yeah, I see it. Yeah. It's and then we got, right. Pat Sheridan. What is up, Pat, man? He says future stars, 100%.
Yama.
Thank you, JD. Great work, Artur. We'll see you soon at Catalunya Circuits. Congratulations, champion. Let's go.
Yeah. So what he's referring to is actually in like 3 weeks, we are going over to Catalunya for a mini GP race with Mason and Artur and Chris. So as our team, we're going over there to kind of dip our feet in the Spanish, and just see how we do. There's no expectations. It's all for fun. But going over there and competing, it's part of the next level, where we kind of go from here. And so it's more for us to go over there and check it out and see what it's like. And, maybe next year we'll do some racing here and over there. And so it's kind of just a fun trip to go and have fun. And we're doing a wild card entry in one of their FIM rounds. So, it doesn't matter if they win, doesn't affect their points, but we're using one of the flying, kind of fly and ride services that they provide the bikes and everything. So yeah, they're real excited about that.
I love it. It's always fun.
Yeah, really.
I would be, right? So Artur and Mason, favorite racetrack. What is the one racetrack you two really want to ride on?
Well, me, it's either, for right now, one of my favorite racetracks is one in Spain a big track that I really want to race in one day, but it's
which one is it?
Momelo, I think I think
Catalunya GP.
Yep. Love it. That was the famous battle of 2009. Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi. Last corner, last lap.
I've memorized the track, so I'm ready.
We're ready for MotoGP.
Rod 5, here we come, right? Thank God for Rod 4 and Rod 5. Yeah, for sure. Love it. Oh, that's awesome. Cynthia says, your dads are amazing, giving so much of your time. Keep up the great job. You know, that's I said this earlier. That's a beautiful part of the journey. Eli, he's a contestant to this too as well, right? It all started with his dad. And look where he's at. Look everything he's achieved and all the love and support and how proud his dad is of him, even though he's faster than his dad now, right? But again, it's that whole. This is the best way I can explain it for Arthur and Mason. My mom has always told me growing up, it takes a village to raise a kid, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Dad's out at sea for 8-9 months, and you're here raising me, right?" I didn't understand that till I had a kid. Now I'm like, you are absolutely right. But I also transitioned into racing. It takes a village to raise one racer, which means it starts from mom and dad, but then the sponsorships and the teams, it's that whole village within that circle that allows you to get to where you are. So, yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Does this work? Is this better?
A lot better,
Yes.
Eli. Thank you.
Oh,
Let's go.
Got it.
I had to get the school bag out and grab my computer, dude. That's aggressive.
Oh my God, dude, that's awesome. Peter Essoff, legend in sidecar racing. You meet the nicest people at the racetrack. 100%. And then we got, of course, you guys know who this guy is right here, Rick Glover, right?
Hey.
Yeah. So, what up, Little Rippers? And big shout out to Rick. You know, Rick and Cooper, they're absolutely amazing. Rick, you know, I've said this before. He actually designed the logo for Pin the Gas. It used to be a different design, so he's doing that. Yeah, did the whole thing, and you know, we've become really good friends. I've been big supporter of Coop. I got actually my podcast table is an RC51 frame that I made into a table, and it's got a big old Cooper sticker right here on the side of it. So yeah, huge supporter of all my friends racing in the sport, except for Eli. I always gave him a hard time at the track. No, I'm just joking. I was always good.
I just could never perform, you know, always underperforming.
That's not true.
Actually, no, you're there for the year it went 1-1.
Absolutely, I was.
That was the first time I met you in person.
It was amazing, right? And I'll never forget because you guys handed me Red Bulls. Like, dude, you might have to run to the store and give me more Red Bull. I'm like, I'm in. Let's go, right? Like, yeah.
We were juicing them up with some Red Bull, and then, you know, next thing you know, I win the double.
I was like a little wind-up toy walking through the paddock. It was awesome. It was good stuff. Let's see who else we got. Carrera, the legend. What is up, fam? You, my friend. Absolutely you. Man, there's so many comments coming up in here. Let's see. We got Jason Wingler. He says, nice. He's talking about you. He's not talking about me. He's talking about all y'all right there. He also says Chris is making Little Rippers. Yeah, you know, it's again, it's the sum of everything. It's Chris and Lee and Mason and Arthur and JD and of course Eli. And yeah, it's true. Again, that's where that whole village comes into play, right? Dylan says, that's my little brother Mason. I'm so proud of you, bud, and how far you've come. Keep it up. Let's go, Dylan. I love it. See, we got Jackie Marino. See, I don't mispronounce all of them, right? So proud of you, my son. Yeah, me too. And then we got this guy right here. I don't know if you know this guy right here. This dude named Eli.
That guy's pretty sick.
I actually got you guys back behind this suit.
It's
right
hidden.
Here.
It's hidden, bro.
Dude, I know.
You put Aiden Tao's suit in front of mine?
I got you.
I'm offended.
I got you. Hang on.
Aiden Tao in front of me. Wow. Yeah, throw it on the ground. Jesus.
There you go, buddy.
Much
it's all
better.
you right there. Does it look better?
There
we go. Put the
everyone.
There it is, right? Yeah. Yeah. So real quick, funny story on this, okay? So I met Jersey. It was my first year actually doing the podcast pretty much by myself. I had met Eli the first time and Isaac and a bunch of other people I had on. And Isaac that whole weekend kept going, dude, who's your favorite racer? Who's your favorite racer? I'm your favorite. I'm your favorite, right? So it was a little game we had going on. So Eli's like, hey, I brought something for you. And he gives me this leather suit. And I was like, bro, dude, like proper mega, right? Immediately went up. And so at the end of the weekend, I went up to Isaac. I take Eli's suit. I throw it down in front of his feet. I said, Eli is my favorite. And Isaac's eyes got this big. He's like, what? Wait, hold up. I got something for you. So he runs out and he grabs his belly pan right here, which I got hanging from the ceiling, and he signs it and he gives it to me. So I give him a big hug and I lean in his ear and I said, Isaac, you're my favorite. Just don't tell nobody. I love you, buddy. Right. So it was a big ha moment and all this. So it's an inside joke that me and Isaac always do when I see him. I'm like, but Eli gave me a suit. Isaac, you just gave me a belly pan. What are you talking about? So,
I mean,
yeah.
He had excess belly pants because he crashed 4 times that weekend. So
He did.
I remember that. It was yellow flag after yellow flag, and then warm-up lap, yellow flag. He went by me blazing on the warm-up lap. I'm like, dude, that's aggressive for a warm-up lap. 3 corners later, Isaac's running with his big airbag, just running over his bike. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, man. It was a great weekend, though, you know, and it was funny because I remember your dad. I was talking to Eric, and he was like, dude, when it rains here, it floods back here. I don't understand why they keep putting us back here. And they need to do something with it. I'm thinking to myself, can't be that bad. Of course, it freaking rained, and it was literally flooded back there in Jersey. And it was just, it was kind of a miserable weekend that weekend with all the water. And actually, Northeast Jules was corner marshaling that weekend. And I remember him walking through the parking lot. It was like 6 p.m. He had sent me text. He's like, I'm ready to go back to the hotel. And he looks miserable, soaking wet. You hear a squeak, squeak, squeak with the boots. And I'm laughing, of course, because we're friends. And I got to, right? Like, but again, that's part of the game you play, right? It's all part of the territory. So, yeah, it's good stuff, man.
That actually sounds like us 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about 3 weekends ago. Yeah, 3 weekends ago. 2 or 3 weekends ago. On Motor America Final. We got in. Friday was sunny, nice. Saturday, we started with, sunshine, a little bit cloudy. No problem. They qualify. And then got lunchtime about noon, and then it started raining. And then lightning strike. We was okay. I guess they're gonna call it because it was lightning strike after another, another 30 minutes. And it came up to 4:20, 4:30, and they say, okay, it's no more lightning strike. Get ready to race. So they start racing. It's still raining like crazy. It was like downpour, no more lightning strike, or downpouring. We was at the pits, all soaking wet. We had to go run and get some ponchos.
Yeah.
It was big learning experience over there on that track, on the Road American car track. But these two.
That was his first time racing in the rain. I mean, I caught him one time out doing circle drills when there was a hurricane passing by in the rain, just doing circles. But so he never actually competed in the rain. That was the first time, was the nationals. And he went to Chris and said, Chris, what do I do? And Chris said, this is what you do, what not to do, whatever. And he executed it very well. He never went down he raced 3 classes. And only one time he went down, which was in a practice session where he pushed the one bike too hard and overshot the chicane. But other than that, he kept the bike up, and he actually accumulated a lot of points by just staying upright and finishing on all 3 classes. And on the day 2, he had a bad qualifying and started P6. But in the rain, he battled P6 to win the race, and then P6 to finish second in the rain. So yeah, it was really amazing, But
100%. It's. I always like riding in the rain. I remember when I first got my bike, I'd go out and ride in the rain. You know what it was for me? I love the sound it hit my helmet of the rain. It was so soothing, right? It sounds funny, but it was like this calm moment. But as I got more acclimated to riding in the rain, of course, being that street squid, pushing it more and more, you realize how much grip you actually have in the rain. It's not nothing to be scared of intense, because that's when you really make the mistakes. But the more calm, the more smooth, the more controllable it is. I don't want to say it's the less fear you have. It's the more confidence in the feedback you're getting from those two black round things that are called tires, that are the most important things that we have. That's the whole point of suspension, getting the best out of the two little black round things to make Eli, Chris, Arthur, and Mason feel comfortable pushing their limits even further and getting that more feeling, right? And that's what it's about. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate of rain riding, 110%.
Don't gotta ask me about my opinion. You already know.
I already do, right? So it's again, it's one of those good to have in the arsenal, because there's a lot of riders out there that don't get a chance to really race in the rain or ride in the rain. And when they show up on a rain weekend, it rains. This big monkey wrench gets thrown in the program. Arthur and Mason, Lee and JD, you guys are fairly new to it and you're getting into it, and you're seeing the monkey wrench show up, because everybody's got a vision and a goal when they go to that racetrack. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is what I want to accomplish. This is the lap time maybe I'd like to achieve, and blah, blah, blah. And then you're out there, everything's kind of going good, and then bam.
Oh yeah.
Right. So for Lee and JD, those challenges that bring, what have you two learned from that?
Well, I'll let JD jump on that one, because talk about monkey wrench. It's always something, when you have a machine that you're pushing to the limit. It's something, but just even the last race, and there's times in California that, JD's been just like unbelievably clutch in getting both them, but not only just Mason and Artur, but other members of our team on the track. And so, yeah, JD, if you want to tell them a little bit just about last weekend, even in Gainesville, we had oh my God.
Oh, Gainesville, last race in Gainesville. So we actually was expecting, we came back from North America, so we have half of the bikes with green tires. So had to be swapping all those tires to slick after we got a beautiful 2 days being there at the track. But mechanical problems, we had mechanical problems with pretty much every single bike. Actually, Artur, he went out on the 160, the first, that was on Saturday. The first practice session with the 160. And he got probably like 5 minutes in, and he's at the end of the track with a blown motor. So he blew the motor on that one. That motor had power, so that's okay. We had to get quick, get the other motor coming in. We have to drop that one, get that one ready to go. We swapped the motor. We got it running. It was good. He got to the starting line and the motor died. Mason, we call it the Killer X, the Mini GP Pro bike. It's a KLX open, so you can modify it. And we was having fuel issues, starting problems, but we got that one figured out. Everything done, ready for that day, and he killed on that one. The biggest one was actually back on California. California, we had, when we came in, the bikes that we got, it was the 2025s, but they haven't arrived yet. So we got a couple rental bikes, 2024. The ones that we are used to use. So easy setup, no problem. Next race, we got the bike, the two bikes for the kid. This new 2025, they put so much technology and information in it. Now you have compression, rebound, preload, you name it. It's like a full-size bike, but just tiny. And we was trying to adjust because 3 clicks in one direction is one thing, and 1 click is another. It was a big challenge trying to get the 2 bikes set up as quick as possible for the riding conditions. The big one we actually have to swap a motor between races.
Between rounds, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went out on for practice, and he came back without. He say, "I don't have third gear." So they went out. We tried. Yeah, it's no longer third gear. Third gear was gone, and that was a practice. So we had to drop that motor, put the other one in before the next race came back. So we can actually get it. That point, it was me, Chris, Lee, everybody scrambling, moving around, swapping that motor as quick as possible so we could be ready to go. That shows the team. It's not like, no, you only do this, you only do that. No, everybody gets together. Everybody, specialize in something, but we all get together. We all work together on the final goal to get them ready. Oh, no.
100%. But that's part of the game we play, and all that's a learning experience next time. And that also shows the beautiful side of our sport. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed, right? Like example, at Mid Ohio, actually, my buddies at Strack needed a 43 tooth-rear sprocket from an R9. My buddy Jason Doss was there. He had a stock R9. Guess what? Had a 43 tooth sprocket, so he gave it to Matty Skoltz. He got the trap record, and I think he won that race too as well. Again, it's like when something happens, Eli jumps in, Chris jumps in. This guy down here that maybe you spoke to twice jumps in, right, and throws in. And the next thing you know, after everything's said and done, is a big bonfire and grill and cookout, and everybody's cracking beers and Kool-Aids, right, and having fun and talking. So it's our beautiful family. And I want to get to this real quick. Brett, you're absolutely right. That's why I like buying from local businesses that are passionate about the craft. That's why what Lee's doing with MP3 is so important. But on with saying that, if anybody's interested in buying anything that has to do with two wheels, I don't care if it's boots, gloves, a shifter, whatever it is, buy it from within the industry. Don't order it from Amazon. Don't order it from Temu. Don't order it from none of that. Trust me. It helps out everybody in the industry a whole lot. I know plenty of people. Everybody on here knows plenty of people, especially if you're just getting started out. Hit up MP3, get you properly set up to get your kids into racing with the right proper stuff you need for your bikes, because that's also, we talked about that earlier.
Get that old heel toe shifter for the CRF 50.
Right. All the challenges that comes that, people don't think about when they first get into it. So it's a heel toe.
That's all I
like that. It's hilarious.
What Eli's talking about is we had our practice day, and he jumps on the 50, and we have a young rider that couldn't shift, so we fabricated a heel toe shifter so he could shift up and down because his boot, he couldn't really get the shift right. And so we're practicing certain sectors, and here comes Eli on the 50, and there's some video on the Facebook, but anyway, he's out there dragging elbow on the 50 through the little sectors, and then he comes back around and he's like, I broke your shifter. That's what he was referring to.
Oops, my bad.
On the real quick, one thing on the MP3, I'm running behind schedule and everything with the website and everything, but we are opening a shop in Lakeland, which is kind of right in between our two tracks, and we have signed the agreement to be an official Ovale dealer in Florida. So the plan is obviously we'll have, Volley new parts, everything, but we're also going to offer service as well. These bikes are, they start to get a little complicated, and they need a little bit of TLC. And so if you're, getting into the sport and you don't know anything about a carburetor, we'll help, tune it and keep the bike at its peak. And some of the other services that we're setting up is a full machine shop. So if you have any dirt bike or any other bike, we can help keep that bike running good and freshen the motor and everything. But one service that I want to offer, especially to the racers soon, after a race day, especially like what his and Arthur's bikes have been through with racing in the rain and the mud and everything, is bring the bike in, we'll service it, we'll clean it, carburetor, valves, lube the chain, everything as like a a package. So, if you're not able to do that, you can bring the bike. We'll help you with that. Get your bike running in top shape. Because, I've had to learn a ton about motorcycles, more than I ever thought I would. And, if there was a service like that, I would gladly have paid somebody just to keep his bikes running. So having JD and we have a master mechanic that we've partnered with to make this happen. Having them keep Mason and Artur's bike running, it's part of the puzzle to be competitive. You can be a good rider with a bad bike, or a good bike with a bad rider, but when you have both together, you're going to do well. So that's our goal, is to give everybody a good running bike. We've had several races where we win the carb. I don't know what was wrong with it. I put a new one in, it was sputtering, whatever. I couldn't figure it out, but a whole day was shot, and he was all depressed, because he couldn't, race. And so, having that service, or offering that service in Florida, is something I'm happy to do for everybody in the community.
It's huge, man, and thank you again. It's
real question is, are you going to have a GP7 out there?
I have 5 bikes coming in within the next week or so. I have one of the few GP7s arriving. Yes, sir.
Hopefully that's a demo bike.
Yep. Our plan is to.
He's like, yeah, you got to put me on it.
Demo bike.
So we picked up an NSF 250 for Mason. He hasn't rode it yet. We haven't been to the big track, but I do want to take the NSF and the GP7 to the track and do some comparisons and some feedback on the 2 different bikes. So we're super excited to get out to like Jennings or Roebling or something like that and do that kind of testing and see what the GP7. We've seen it in person. It's amazing, a beautiful bike. But I'd love to get the feedback of someone that knows how to really ride it. So we're looking forward to that. So I'll let you know, Eli.
Give me a call. I'll be down there.
Me too. I'm interested. I cannot wait to hear all about it for sure. Yeah. And we actually got Mama in the house. Jennifer, what is up? She says, so proud of these boys and the entire team. Lee, JD, Chris, Mike C. We couldn't have come this far without all of you. I'm so blessed to have all of you as our race family. Again,
well, let me say one thing. We cannot do this without the support of the wives. Everybody knows that,
Yes.
If they say no, we're going to be sitting at home. You know what I mean? And example, Yoli, who has been able to travel with Artur and JD. I mean, when we're at the track and we're greasy and we're trying to do all, she's taking care of like everything else you could think of, from drinks, food, you name it. She's there as a support. Same thing with Jen. In fact, last weekend when the motor went out, she drove the crate motor that we had at the shop basically 4 hours to the track in Gainesville, so JD could put that in the bike. So the women, I gotta give them credit. You gotta give a shout out to the wives. It's
100%.
And even Chris's wife. The amount of time that Chris has spent with us away from home and away from his wife. Like, we've literally raced 3 weeks. We went from Road America to Southern California to Central Florida in 3 weeks, like just that. So, I mean, he hasn't been home. And so, his wife supporting him doing this. I got to thank all the women. So
that's why she wanted him to get off the phone real quick last night. He's like, dude, I got to go. My wife's eyeballing me over here. I was like, I get it. It brings me to the point. Big shout out to my wife too. If it wasn't for her love and support, I wouldn't be able to do all these podcasts that I do every week. So you're right. It's all, again, it's that village, and without, our queens being such a big supporter, and this is to all the women out there, dude, we love every single one of you. Again, we couldn't do it without you. So we think we can, but we can't. So that's for you girls, 110%. Let's see. We got Rick Glover says someone buy Eli some Wi-Fi. He's got that Taco Bell Wi-Fi going on.
Yeah, we don't write it out, Rick. I'm sorry, I'm not in the gaming room, bro.
That's hilarious.
In the game room.
In the game room. Rick also says teaching kids how to give feedback is hard but huge. It really is, especially at that young age where they're soaking it all up. It's something that, again, that puzzle that's coming in. But I do have one comment right here that I really want to ask Mason, and we got to see this.
Oh my
Mason.
God, no.
Yes, dude. Fox Rider Girl says, Mason, how is it swollen fingers in your victory dance? Bro, we got to see the dance, baby. Let's get it.
Come on.
No.
Come on,
Yeah.
let's do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
All right, you know what?
Mason, we're gonna do some insane workouts if you don't do it right now.
I'll take the workout. It's not worth it.
I'll take the
Wow.
workouts. I'll take the workouts.
Wow. Okay. Deal.
Love it, deal. You know what, Mason? We'll save it for next time. Your dad could do a video, give it to me, and I'll just put it on the socials and add it in with the link for the podcast. So
Yeah.
I'll
I'll just put it on my Insta.
there you go. Right? Yeah. It's
Swollen fingers. That's
I mean, it's a little better. It was kind of bad after the crash I had when I was in the second turn at Gainesville. The handlebar landed right on my hand, so it really messed up my middle finger, and it's you can see it's kind of bruised on the.
He was happy to show Yamari, who's a Foxy Rider girl, his swollen finger all day long. Like check out my swollen finger. Basically, was
This one hurts a lot.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Arthur,
Big shout
don't
out
be getting any ideas down there. Don't be getting any ideas.
She
Keep
was
it
down.
the very first time we went to the track. She was the very first person we met, and she's on our team, and she's had tremendous progress. Got her first podiums and everything. But her and Mason have like a really cool bond. The two of them, they're like almost like brother sister, and it's really cool.
Slight age difference though.
We don't gotta throw that one out, Mason. Come on.
It's cool. Jamari, she's absolutely amazing. I met her. We missed each other at Daytona this year for some reason, but she come, I think, only on Saturday, what she told me. But yeah, I had her and Dan on, and she has. I was picking her brain a lot about her and racing with your guys' race team too, Mclntire, and everything she learned and how far she progressed. It just goes to show that, it's never too never too old to learn the sport, right? It's all about that dedication, and some people get into the sport at young age like Arthur and Mason. Some people get into the sport at an older age like Josh Hayes actually did, right? And he's an absolute legend of the sport now. But again, you never know where your career and your path is going to take you within this industry. So yeah, it's again, Arthur and Mason, so important for you to have Chris on your guys' team. Not only that, is JD and your dad that love you guys so much, that just want the best for you, want to see you thrive. Even if you two said, hey, I don't want to race no more, I want to be a professional artist, they're still going to support you the same, no matter what, right? At the end of the day, it's us as dads, we sacrifice all of our wants and needs for our kids to give them the best of everything, and that's what truly makes me happy. And I'm pretty sure I could say the same for JD's over there. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't gotta say nothing because I already see it on Lee's face, and Chris, when he has a kid one day, it's going to be the same for him too, right? So
Daddy Chris,
and you too, Eli. We can't leave you out of this conversation right here, right? So, but that's a whole nother conversation. We'll have some other time.
Simmer down, Chris.
Look, Chris, dude, what is up, Chris? He says, Mclntire team looking official with all the matching gear and team shirts. Pretty awesome to see. Yeah, mine actually arrived yesterday. It's an absolute honor to be able to wear this shirt and support my friends. So thank you so much, Lee, for sending me this. I'm definitely going to wear it on a lot of podcasts, even when I'm out in public. And yeah, I love to support all my friends. And again, what you and JD are doing, and Chris and the whole teamwork that goes in along with it, it's just it's proper mega. And Eli, he's always making a crash entrance, right? So let's go.
Dude, my boss just called me. It's weird. He tried calling me like 6 times. I told him I'm doing something important. He's like, your job is on the line. I was like, no, it's not. Stop lying to me.
Yeah, right. Quit playing with me, man. We're talking
Quit
about
race. I just have to drop off my dog.
Right? Yamari says, I'm a young lady, Mason.
See?
You're going to be in trouble.
See what I said?
Going to be in
See what I
trouble.
said?
This is good stuff.
He's
Well, listen,
young.
gentlemen.
He's young, guys. You got to give him a break. He's young.
And learning, right? Dude, we're
He's
2
learning,
hours.
But we got to see that victory dance, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Victory dance. Dude, the victory dance has got to come. It's got to, Mason. Don't be embarrassed. We're all
I mean, you
friends
did
here.
it. You kind of did it at Road America.
Yeah.
Well, let's see it. Come
So
on,
the
Mason. Let's
So the
go.
whole entire country saw it anyway.
I'll get him on video.
Oh, entire country's on.
I'll get him.
I mean,
He's
it's like 6 people.
I love it. Look, I could even do this.
Do it on the spin bike. Yeah, do it on the. You know what? Mason,
Bro, it's
get on
all
the spin
you,
bike.
baby.
Get on that spin bike and just go. There you go.
He says, I'm out of here, people. I love it.
He's out.
It's hilarious. Oh my
Now he's
god.
back.
Now he's back. I love it. That's okay. Next time, Mason.
We got a lot of-
Oh my god. Jennifer actually says Eli coming like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Had to make an entrance.
That's hilarious. And then Glover says, let's go, Mason, do it.
Do it.
Your fans
Do it.
your dance.
Bro, you got a whole fan base right here.
We
Wait
gotta
for
learn
this.
something in life. It's called peer pressure. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Let's go.
Come on,
Let's go.
Mason. Yeah.
He's like,
You know, as soon as we hang up, he's gonna do it. I'm gonna try to record it.
yeah, you have to send it to me. I'll put it out there. No problem.
Edit it in.
I love it. Well, listen, gentlemen, we're 2 hours and 10 minutes into this podcast. It's been an absolute proper mega time. You gentlemen stay on with me once I end this because we are definitely going to sit down and schedule our next one and our individual ones too as well.
Oh, hold up. Look at the comment.
I got you.
Look at the comment.
I got $20 for you. if you did.
$20.
Bro,
No.
you could
You
buy
got
some
$20.
Fortnite skins with that $20.
Arthur's gonna dance right now.
Dude, Arthur,
No.
you got to
Guys,
dance.
lit up. He's like, hold on.
Come on, Arthur, let's go, baby.
Dude,
Let's
I'll
go.
start dancing. Yo, I will start dancing right now.
Look, Mason's like, I'm
$20
just
is $20.
Come on, baby, let's go.
Come on.
Wait, how much for me to dance?
Yeah, we still have like so much, man. Yeah,
To talk about it.
thank you for the time also, and you know the legends and the talent from Moto America to Superbike, the people you've had on the show, and for us to be at the first step of this journey to be on the show, I really appreciate it. And yeah, if anybody that's curious about getting into it, maybe you can learn something from our conversation. That would be awesome. Yeah.
You got $140 right now.
$40 in tax, bro. That's a lot of skins. What are you doing?
140.
Oh, I'll get up and dance for $140.
What do I need to do? Do I need to stand in my chair and dance right now?
Oh yeah, 140.
I wouldn't believe
Explain
that.
the dance, bro. Explain the dance. We'll all do it.
I will just, you know what? Text me right now. Tell me what the dance is.
Give your phone. Give
I
your
will get it out and do it.
Arthur, do you know what the dance is?
I don't even know it, so.
I did it at Gainesville.
Oh,
Bro, how am I supposed to remember?
That's all.
oh yeah. Or farming.
Yeah, that's all right. There he
No,
is.
no.
You were doing it.
You ready the music?
Hold
Hold on.
Mason.
Hold on.
No, man, you just did it. Literally.
I'm not.
No, let me get the music
The
out.
one that Marquez did and all the other kids are doing.
When everybody was talking about he did it at the track at Wisconsin, I thought he did the bloody kids.
There it is. Come on.
I'm not doing it.
I'd do it if I could. I don't know. It's
You can't convince me.
Jamari says it can't end without a
You got
dance.
the music on.
What are you doing?
It must.
him and another kid were doing it down the one straight. It was pretty.
Excuse me.
Yeah, at the same time.
That's all right. Mason, next time. Next time when we do this, we'll get you a dance, right?
It's on the way out. It's on the way out.
I love it. I love it. But listen, you know, it's Lee. My response to you is, man, listen, it's an absolute honor for me to be in this position to be able to do this. And again, without you and Chris and Eli and all my friends that come on here and everybody that watches this podcast, likes and subscribes, I say it all the time. It's nothing but love to every single one of you, because without you, again, that village, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. So thank you so much, every single one of you. If you had not that I had the chance, please go hit that like and subscribe. It does help me out a whole lot so I can continue to do this. Rick Glover says $20, lighting for it. Chris says, yo, Lee, your cousin is in the chat. Awesome. Love it, right? So yeah, everybody that watched this live and that commented, thank you guys and girls so much. If you missed this or jumped in halfway, you can go to my YouTube at Pin the Gas as soon as I end this and rewatch the whole thing. It'll be out everywhere, Spotify, all iHeart, all that good stuff tomorrow. But I'm actually going to let Chris, Artur, and Mason in this podcast, the coach and the two future legends of the sport. But before I give the microphone to them, and of course Eli too as well, I want Lee and JD to give all your shout outs, talk about MP3, when it's going to be up and running, when they can go and see it and find it, and you two as well as JD.
Yeah, thank you. So with MP3 Motorsports, we're going to be based out in Lakeland. Website is just about ready. We've already pulled in inventory for all the Avale parts. So we'll have local parts available. Planning on having parts also for trackside support for racing. We had parts, and I was helping some of the riders at the last race in Gainesville. Although it's interesting, some of the weird stuff, like one of the riders lost a gas cap. I was like, well, I didn't think about bringing a gas cap as trackside part, but so anyway, we carry a lot of the main stuff that crash and carburetors and so on. So the plan to have more support for the Avale bikes, and it's important to get the kids on these GP style bikes sooner than later. It's great that they're riding bikes, but the sooner they can transition over to that body position, it's just better long term for them, on this road racing. So we'll have the shop in Lakeland, and we have new Avale inventories coming in. A big container ship just came into the US a week ago, and so our bikes are on the way. 110s, 160s, 190s, GP7. So if you're looking for a new bike, we have inventory. We have a couple of pre-owned bikes as well. So give me a email, call directly. My number's online and everything. So but anyway, I'll JD, if you have anything.
No, you pretty much covered.
Nope.
JD's like, I want to dance. I'm done. I'm out. See ya.
One thing is that we do have a lot of really cool but also important parts for the bikes that we 3D print ourselves. And JD has engineered the architecture on these. The boys have tested them, crash sliders, covers for different parts of the bike. When the bike goes down and you shave off your fork caps, you're $300 for these, little $20, $30 cap that can save it. It's worth it, trust me. So we're gonna have all these different parts available that JD's engineered, 3D printed services and all. So I'm going to give him a shout out. Yeah.
Thank you, JD. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are amazing, my friend. 110%. So listen, I'm gonna let the two kids in the podcast. You two are gonna be last. So Eli, tell everybody where they can find you, where they get that amazing coaching from you, and there's dance lessons too as well. And then I'll let you give all your shout outs, Chris, if anybody's interested in hitting you up for some coaching too as well.
Hi, my name's Eli Block. I like long walks on the beach. And you can find me on Instagram at Eli Block _ on Facebook as Eli Colby, because they won't allow Block as a real last name. Don't know why. TikTok, Eli Block 92. Snapchat, Eli _3430. Hit me up. OnlyFans. Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? 79, 69, whatever it is. Hit me up.
92. I just like to thank Lee for allowing me into this awesome opportunity. And, I wish I lived a little closer and not 20 hours away, but we'll be back down there sometime soon. And try coming down, and hopefully if this keeps growing, then maybe it creates a career out of it, for not only the kids with their racing and just us for coaches making something bigger out of it. So I can't thank Lee for doing everything, and Chris I know how it's fun coaching, but I know how hard it is. And man, you've done a great job with the kids, and these kids are pretty damn easy, and they've done a great job with it. So thank you, boys. And kids keep killing it. And thank you guys for everything. Chris, long time no see. Appreciate for having me back.
Of course.
Yeah, hit me up.
Man.
Absolutely.
So, I guess that leaves me now. So message me on Facebook. Chris Miranda is spelled right under my face, my chin right over here. You can reach out to me there. My phone number and WhatsApp and everything like that is on my Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is Mr. 413 Racing Academy _ for the spaces. And yeah, just reach out to me. My schedule, this is my full-time gig, so my schedule is completely open, flexible for any students who are interested in more coaching and more personal one-on-one coaching. And yeah, just reach out.
I love it. So now the stars of the show, Artur and Mason. Mason, I'm going to start with you. Tell everybody where they can find you, the next event you're going to be at, so people and kids can show up and get that picture and all that good stuff. And then Artur, I'm going to let you go next. Hey, can you help me with some coaching? He sent that to you, Chris.
Things don't happen to Chris, guys.
I scared him.
You can find me on
Sorry,
Facebook.
my phone like completely froze when you sent that message. But I was reading it. I was like, and then I just get the message.
Yes, man. You see what happened to me earlier? My boss called me.
Hilarious.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, boys. Take it over.
You can find me on Facebook at Mason. It's Mason McIntyre, and you can also find me on Instagram, Mclntire Racing. And
he has a lot of content on YouTube under Mason McIntyre.
Yeah.
We try to post as much as we can. Yeah.
And I would just like to thank Mr. 413 Racing Academy, MP3 Motorsports, and my mom and everyone else that supported me. Thank you. Y'all are great. Do the hard thing. Work.
I'll do it for you. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee, also, is there also an Instagram to reach out for MP3 Motorsports?
It will be MP3 Motorsports. It'll be MP3Motorsports.com. We have Facebook, Instagram. Everything is underneath that as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Gotcha.
Artur.
Because I've been tagging it. I'm just trying to make sure I got the right one.
Got the right one.
Well, you can find me in Instagram, Artur Racing 75, and YouTube.
Yeah,
I think there's one on YouTube. Facebook. I don't know. I don't know much about that. I just train and race.
A75 Racing.
Yeah, A75 Racing and
To Racing 75.
yeah, and the next event I'm gonna be at is 3 weeks, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
Spain. Spain.
Alcaraz, Spain. The Alcaraz track in Spain. They do supermoto, so they have a full-size track. They have a go-kart track with where they're gonna be doing the event. It's an amazing, looks like it's an amazing track for what we can see in the videos and the studying that they've been doing. We're going to be in like 3 weeks.
And then we have 2 SFL races at Bushnell.
Yeah.
So one in October, one in November. Go to minisbkusa.com or sflminigp.com. Come out, check it out. I sound like my career right now, but they have all the gear. They, just show up. They'll get you the bike, the gear. On Saturday, they have a new rider day. So if you've never ridden a bike, whatever age you are, come on out. They'll get you on there, hook you up with a coach. That's how we kind of got started, and here we are having a time of our life doing this.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, on that note, I always give SFL Mini. So if any parents out there in the market getting into racing, riding at all, just exactly what Lee said, you can go to sflminigp.com our minusasbk.com. All you got to do is register, show up. You don't need the bikes, the gear, nothing. They provide everything. And just prepare to have a proper mega really good time and a lifetime full of love, laughter, and fun, because that's what Two Wheels is all about. And you're going to meet the most amazing people and family. So yeah, thank you to all my sponsors out there. The list is long. I'm not going to sit here and go through all of them, but you know exactly who you are. And again, I love every single one of you guys and girls out there. Without you, again, I wouldn't be here. And I just want to say thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to have Chris, Mason, Lee, Artur, JD, and of course, the special guest, Eli Block, back up in the house. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are all out of here. We will see you soon at the nearest racetrack, and we love every single one of you. And yeah, you gentlemen, stay on with me here in a minute when I end this. We're going to go ahead and schedule our next one, and hopefully Eli won't have Taco Bell Wi-Fi next time, as Glover says it, right? So yeah, let's go. But yeah, we are out of here. Do you guys have anything to say before I end this?
No.
Are you sure, Mason? Because you look like you got something to say.
Bust out a dance move.
No.
Last chance.
Are you sure?
If there's any hopeless romantics in a Moto America team looking for a rider,
hit me up.
Joy. I don't know.
I love it.
No.
Artur, is there anything you want to say?
No.
Are you sure?
Chris, you want to say anything?
Sponsors.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Thank you, MP3. Thank you, the team, and thank you, Dunlop, KYT.
For the helmets, and the boots,
Yeah, Envy.
and the suits.
Foreman.
Foreman, the boots.
Oh.
Foreman. Format boots.
That's harder than it looks. Let me tell you what. I give you racers credit for nailing that sponsor pitch at the end of a race, because it's not easy. So,
Especially after like if you're on a podium and it's like the emotions are flowing, you're like looking at it's full Ricky Bobby, like and you're just looking at the bike for clues. I don't know where I am.
Right? Yeah. No. Listen.
Looking at a
He, for
team
me,
member's
I
shirt,
got it
trying
written
to
all
read the
down.
sponsors.
I got it.
My
all
dad
down.
used to like hold his
Like a
shirt up in the
teleprompter.
fucking
Like,
bag. He'd be like,
right? Look.
or he would like
Thank
have a
you.
pit board and write, like a pit board and write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. Jennifer, she says, thank you for having us. Listen, Jennifer, the honor is absolutely all mine. I cannot
Now you
wait
need to have a Lee and Jennifer podcast to fully break down what it's like.
wait,
Oh no.
That's coming.
I might be in trouble. She might find out how much this stuff really costs.
No,
That
we
is-
don't talk about that stuff. No, we talk about how
Oh,
it
you
was
screwed
like
yourself
raising
saying
it, not
You
cost.
screwed yourself saying it now.
Right?
Yeah,
she
you
already
have to
knows.
say it, man.
She knows. So yes, that's I asked Lee to come on and J2 as well, because I asked JD when he reached out to me that I'd love to sit down with him too as well. To me, it's important, just like I did with Rick and Michael and everybody else dads that I had on here. Right? It's that full journey, so the dad has the opportunity to tell his side of the story and how he got into it, however late or early it was, or if they rode before or not. Right? It's all, again, that little puzzle pieces that go together to make the sum of the whole picture. So yeah, listen, on that note, we can all sit here and just keep going and going and going, but I'm gonna end this. You gentlemen stay on with me, and thank you guys and girls so much. I love every single one of you, and yeah, I got 4 podcasts coming up this whole weekend, and yeah, see you guys tomorrow, and we are out of here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We're waiting on that dance, Mason.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.